Chapter 37:13. Su Yu and Xingro talked for a long time. This time, no one knew what they talked about. However, when Huamin saw Xingro come out, his face turned livid. Then, he saw her and walked away. Xingro probably knew that Huamin and Qin Chu didn't trust her. So, after failing to eavesdrop, she didn't plan to continue pretending. She might as well shed all pretense of cordiality. After dealing with these things, Su Yu returned to the living room to eat. Seeing Su Yu return, Han Yueyao walked up to him. "You don't seem to have eaten much. What do you want to eat?" "I'll get it for you." "No, I'm not hungry." Su Yu looked unhappy. "What's wrong? Were you scolded by Sister Mian?" "Huh." Han Yueyao thought that Su Yu was unhappy because Huamin told him to go out and teach him a lesson. "Don't make wild guesses if you don't understand. It's just to show how smart you are." "Hey! Did you eat gunpowder? Shoot whoever you see." Han Yueyao felt like she had walked into a trap for no reason. In the corner of the living room, Qin Chu's mother and Qin Ning were coaxing the twins. The two children were crying silently. No matter what was asked, they wouldn't answer. They didn't eat the food she gave them. Mrs. Qin was so anxious. "Io, my little sweetheart. What's going on?" "Everything was fine. What's going on?" "Pudding, why are you as noisy as Little Bean? What's wrong with you too?" Qin Ning squatted before the twins and asked carefully. "Auntie, I'm a little upset. Don't mind me. I'll be fine after crying for a while." Hearing Pudding's words, Qin Ning didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Little ancestors, today is your mommy's birthday. It's such a happy day. How can you not cry? Go ahead and cry. When Mian comes, she'll teach you a lesson." Mrs. Qin was a little angry and decided to ignore them. Speaking of the devil, she saw Huamin and Qin Chu walk over. "Sis, don't cry. Mommy is here." Sure enough, when Little Bean saw her mommy, she stopped crying immediately like a mouse seeing a cat. She didn't forget to remind her sister. "It's the same even if mommy comes. I'm sad. The tears are mine. Who did I offend when I cried?" Pudding was a stubborn person. She usually looked calm, but once she got into a dead end, it was really hard to persuade her. "What's going on?" Qin Chu was worried about his daughter, so he walked a few steps faster than Huamin and came over. "Okay, now that your parents are here, I'll go to the side first." Seeing that her son and daughter-in-law were here, old madam didn't say much. She pulled Qin Ning to make room for Qin Chu and Huamin. Qin Ning doted on her nieces, so she didn't forget to remind them before she left. "Brother, sister-in-law, don't scold them. Be patient. I know, they're my biological children. Do I need you to teach them?" Qin Chu also thought Qin Ning's words were funny. "Tell me, what's going on?" Huamin stood in front of the two children and asked calmly. "Mommy. I miss Grandpa and Auntie. But I know they're gone." "Who told you?" Huamin calmly asked the crying Little Bean. "Sis said you purposely sent us away because Grandpa and Auntie are gone." "Yes, they're gone." Huamin didn't hide it. It was better if he didn't say it. After hearing this, Pudding and Little Bean froze. Then, the two sisters looked at each other and cried even more intensely. The twins loved Grandpa, but they loved Auntie Lu Yan even more. Every time, the children felt that their time together was too short and not enough. Therefore, they found it hard to accept parting. Huamin and Qin Chu understood this feeling. "So, are you going to cry until tomorrow morning?" Huamin continued to interrogate them. Chapter 37:14. The twins looked at each other and didn't dare to say a word. "Good. You like to cry, right?" Mian, Qin Chu couldn't stand it anymore. He pulled Huamin aside and pleaded for his daughters. "Honey, don't get involved in this." Huamin warned Mr. Qin in a serious tone. Then, the two kids realized the situation was getting serious. Mommy. Little Bean was about to beg for mercy. Shut up. Listen to me. You two like to cry, right? Don't you like to use your tears to gain sympathy? Very good. Come on, keep crying. Whoever stops first loses. The loser will cancel all 8 days of vacation next month and go to English classes. Little Bean, Pudding, Mommy, you're kidding, right? Little Bean stopped crying and looked at Huamin in horror. I never joke with my children. The countdown starts now. Come on, cry. I'll watch you two and see who wins. Pudding and Little Bean stopped crying immediately. This method worked, but it was too cruel. You're not crying anymore, right? Then you both lose. You'll go to English classes next month. Mommy, we were wrong, no. It's useless to know you were wrong. You have to pay for your mistakes. But we're kids. We're still young. Little Bean argued. You're so young, but you know how to use this method to make things difficult for adults. What will you do when you grow up? Huamin glared at them. Little Bean, Pudding, Mommy, don't be so unreasonable. It's your birthday today. Can't you give amnesty to everyone? Perhaps she had watched too many Qing dynasty dramas, but Little Bean's words almost made Huamian laugh. I always do what I say. Huamin deliberately kept a straight face. Daddy, please say something. Lin Chujiu said. Little Bean couldn't stand it. If her 1-month vacation was cancelled, she wouldn't be able to go out with Boyuan for a month. She didn't want that. Honey, forget it. Our daughters didn't do anything wrong. So you're saying that I was wrong? Huamin tilted his head and looked at Qin Chu. No, no, no. It's my fault. As a father, it's my fault. I didn't educate him well. Qin Chu didn't dare to provoke Huamin. Today was his birthday, and he only celebrated his birthday once a year. At this moment, Pudding, who had been silent all this time, took out a small brocade box from behind her. Mommy, happy birthday. Ugh, Huamin didn't know what to do. The child took out a birthday present without warning. The packaging was also very exquisite. Qin Zhao Zhao, you're shameless. You went behind my back. You. Little Bean was furious when she saw her sister's gift. Why didn't she know anything about it? Pudding, what's this? Qin Chu was also curious. His daughters were so young. What kind of present could it be? Mommy said that I won't accept any presents this year. Huamin didn't seem to want to accept it. After all, if he accepted their gifts, how could he continue to reprimand the two lawless little monkeys? Mommy, it's not an expensive present. I made it myself. Look. Really? You made it? Hearing that it was made by hand, Huamin's interest was piqued. He carefully took the little box from Pudding's hand. Pudding was so angry that she wanted to eat her sister. She looked at Pudding as if she was a traitor. Chapter 37:15. Why aren't you opening it? Your daughter prepared it herself. Qin Chu was curious as well. Pudding had been quiet the whole time. What could she have prepared? Don't think I'll let you guys go just because you gave me a gift. I gave you the gift. Just let me go, not Little Bean, Pudding said cheerfully. Little Bean, why did she feel that she had been tricked by her elder sister when she cried together with her elder sister? Upon hearing Pudding's words, Huamin chuckled. He couldn't bear to part with his own child. Huamin slowly opened the brocade box. Inside lay a pair of pearl earrings. They were simple in design without any embellishments. There were only 2 pearls of good quality. You made them, Pudding? Pudding nodded. I went to GK's jewelry chain to choose the pearls, but I paid for them. My daughter really knows how to keep the goodies within the family. Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. She knew how to support her family's business at such a young age. Not bad at all. The earrings are made of platinum. I bought the materials and asked a master to teach me how to make them. They look simple, but they're very troublesome to make. I hope mommy likes them. I like them. You worked so hard to make them, how could I not like them? Huamin felt warmth in his heart. Sis. Is this okay? Didn't we agree that we'd go together? Are you kicking me away? Little Bean said angrily. You can give me half of the money now, and then we'll both give them to you. Okay. Little Bean nodded like a chick pecking at rice. How about this? I don't want the platinum part. You can pay for one of the 2 pearls, Pudding said slowly. No problem. How much? Little Bean thought that she still had a few thousand yuan in her WeChat red packet. It should be enough. The 2 pearls are 120,000 yuan. You can give me 60,000 yuan. Damn. 60,000 yuan? Are you robbing me? Little Bean opened her mouth wide. How can you say that I'm robbing you? I bought them from Daddy's jewelry store. There's a receipt. Are you indirectly saying that Daddy is robbing you? Little Bean, Qin Chu was speechless. It's really 120,000. Forget it, pretend I didn't ask. Sis, you have a big family and a big business. You should take care of it yourself. I don't have money. Hearing that it was 60,000 yuan, Little Bean would never agree to bear it. How long would this amount of money be enough for them to eat ice cream for? It's really that expensive. Huamin's heart ached. Mommy, this is the cost price. Pearls are very expensive, they're of high quality. If you don't believe me, you can ask Daddy. Our family's jewelry is indeed high-end. Honey, you don't have to feel guilty. Your daughter is a rich woman. Just keep it. Qin Chu tried to persuade Huamin with a smile. He knew that Pudding had made a lot of money in the stock market recently. Ever since she bought Hua Xiqian's shell company, she had become even more successful. Alright, then I'll accept it. Huamin was very happy and carefully put the pearls in his pocket. Mommy, then what happened just now will cancel it out. Look, we're not crying anymore. Pudding took the opportunity to negotiate. You're the best at negotiating with me. Huamin was helpless. Otherwise, Mommy wouldn't punish us. After all, we're your biological daughter. Little Bean immediately flattered. Qin Chu looked at his watch and changed the subject. Honey, it's almost time. Let's go. I'll take you to the deck. There's a surprise. Chapter 37:16. Huamin held his daughter's hand and walked out. The family of 4 was the first to arrive at the top deck. 1 minute later, the first firework bloomed in the midnight sky. It was in the shape of a sunflower, very big and beautiful. It stayed in the air for a long time and changed into many colors. Wow! It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Pudding reacted quickly and took out her cell phone to record this beautiful moment. Huamin leaned his head on Qin Chu's shoulder and quietly savored the beauty of this moment. Hearing the sound of the fireworks, the guests in the lobby ran out. They rushed to the decks of each floor to enjoy the romantic fireworks show. The fireworks were prepared by Qin Chu. Huamin liked them very much, but in recent years, for the sake of environmental protection, the fireworks were banned. They could only be set off at certain times in the city. So, they were rarely seen. Qin Chu bought 1 million yuan worth of fireworks and set them off on the cruise ship for 2 hours. It was a big deal just for Huamin's birthday party. The story of Qin Chu burning money to save his beloved wife was spread far and wide by the world. Suyu and Han Yueyao were standing in a corner on the second floor. Since they came out late, they didn't stand in a very good position. Han Yueyao watched the fireworks quietly with clear eyes. Why didn't you take a video with your cell phone? Suyu was puzzled. Almost everyone on the cruise ship was recording and posting it on their WeChat moments. But the little girl didn't do anything. Suyu thought she was too happy and forgot. No. Sometimes, you can only remember the beauty of that moment when you see it with your own eyes, and not in photos or videos. Han Yueao said calmly, but Su Yu was touched. She was right. Shall I take a photo for you as a souvenir? Su Yu suddenly had an idea. No. People say that when a man takes a photo of a woman, the effect is even scarier than that of a ghost. What's a ghost? Su Yu was confused. Uncle, we have a generation gap. Su Yu, come, let's take a selfie. She took out her cell phone and opened a beauty app. Then, she took the camera and zoomed in on her and Su Yu. Smile at them. I'll say 1, 2, 3, and you'll say. Before she could finish her sentence, Hua Mian interrupted her. Su Yu said, I know. I'll say eggplant. Eggplant my ass. You're born in the 60s, right? Who still talks about eggplants nowadays? Han Yueao laughed. Su Yu, then what should I say? Su Yu couldn't remember ever taking a selfie. Although he thought he was good looking, he really didn't like taking photos. Come, look at the camera with me. I'll say 1, 2, 3, and we'll shout together, money. Su Yu, sure enough, it's all about money. Su Yu was speechless. Are you going to do it or not? Han Yueao glared at him. Yes. Yes, for some reason, Su Yu wanted to take a photo of such a beautiful scene as a souvenir. So, Han Yueao shouted 1, 2, 3, and they shouted together, money. Because of the pronunciation of money, when they took the photo, the corners of their mouths curved up slightly. They looked very happy. Behind them were blooming fireworks. Han Yueao was beautifully dressed, and Su Yu was handsomely dressed. This was the only photo they took together, and it was the photo that Han Yueao treasured the most many years later. Hey! 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 What are you two doing? Tang Chuan appeared out of nowhere, startling Su Yu and Han Yueao. Han Yueao almost dropped her cell phone into the water. Chapter 37:17. Ahem. Su Yu felt awkward. There's something going on. Tang Chuan had always liked to gossip. So, he glanced over from afar and saw the two of them taking a selfie. It was as if he had discovered a new continent. He left Qin Ning alone and came over to gossip. Don't talk nonsense. She rolled her eyes. Little girl, you're lucky. Our Lord Su hasn't taken a selfie for a long time. Come on, send me the photo. I want to send it to the group. Ha ha ha, ignore him. He's just a paparazzo. Su Yu turned around and said to Han Yueao. Hurry, what's your WeChat? I'll add you. Tang Chuan was having a lot of fun. Do you believe that I'll tell Qin Ning that you want to hit on girls? Su Yu threatened. Damn it. How can you do that? Get lost. Don't gossip. Su Yu knew that he couldn't say anything good, so he didn't want to tease him. If news of him taking selfies with a girl got out, it would be very low. Su Yu felt embarrassed. Tang Chuan and Su Yu chatted and laughed and soon walked away. Only then did Han Yueao take out her phone, open it quietly, and open the photo album. She saw the photo she just took. It was actually quite beautiful. Han Yueao pursed her lips and smiled secretly. Then, she closed her phone. Su Yu's temper was really bad. Just like the rumors, he was irritable, but his childishness was also real. In fact, he was quite innocent. He didn't have the schemes of those big bosses, nor did he have petty tricks, nor did he have the ruthlessness of the rich. On the other hand, Su Yu looked more like the big boy next door. Han Yueao felt that if it weren't for Qin Chu, she would have been like this. Perhaps even an excellent woman like Hua Min wouldn't be able to resist Su Yu's gentleness. After all, he was so good. Many people were amazed by the fireworks, and many couples took pictures together, made wishes, and even kissed. Hua Min's birthday party had turned into a Chinese Valentine's Day. Shen Mingxi didn't go out to watch the fireworks with the others. He just sat in the corner of the hall, quietly drinking champagne. While watching the fireworks, Wei Ying looked around for Shen Mingxi but didn't see him. He searched all 3 floors, but there was no sign of it. When she finally returned to the hall, she saw him sitting in the corner. He looked so lonely. His head was lowered, and no one could see the expression on his face. Wei Ying didn't know what was wrong with her. Perhaps all women were sentimental by nature. When she saw the beautiful fireworks and remembered that Shen Mingxi was also on the boat, she really wanted to watch it with him. Ever since she knew that Hua Min had told her about Hua Yanyan and Yi Gongzi, she was even more unwilling to manage that boring man. Mingxi bro, Wei Ying called out and walked over briskly. Why didn't you go watch the fireworks? Shen Mingxi looked up and smiled, but his smile was a little forced. I did, but I didn't see you, so I looked around for you. There were too many people. I didn't want to join in the fun. But the fireworks are really beautiful. I heard that Sister Mian likes fireworks, so her husband bought them for her. It's a custom-made batch from a fireworks factory. It's beautiful. I've never seen such gorgeous fireworks. If you like it, watch it for a while longer. I want you to watch it with me, Wei Ying blurted out. Shen Mingxi licked his lips. He didn't speak, but his expression was complicated. Wei Ying blushed and waited for Shen Mingxi's response and reaction, probably because she felt she was too direct. Chapter 37:18. Big Brother Mingxi. Do you hate me? Wei Ying thought that Shen Mingxi misunderstood her because she was close to Yi Zhaoyang. In fact, there was nothing between her and Yi Zhaoyang. That guy was very enthusiastic, but she didn't have feelings for him. No. Shen Mingxi felt extremely guilty and conflicted. He had already given up on Wei Ying. Yes, he felt that he couldn't give her happiness, not to mention the hurt he caused to Wei Ying before. Just Hui Yanyan was enough to turn everyone upside down. So, he did feel sorry for Wei Ying. He was sorry in the past, and he was even more sorry now. If not, then come watch the fireworks with me. Before Shen Mingxi could speak, Wei Ying mustered up the courage to. She took Shen Mingxi's hand and ran out. Shen Mingxi couldn't say anything. Wei Ying's initiative reignited the fire of hope he had given up. Sometimes, fate was really strange. After going around in circles, the person you met might still be the same person. Wei Ying knew that her second brother, Wei Liao, sister-in-law, and Wei Yunshu were all on the 3rd floor with Hua Min and the others. So, to avoid her brother's sight, she pulled Shen Mingxi to the 1st floor of the cruise ship. There weren't many people here, but Wei Liao couldn't see them no matter what. Yi Zhaoyang was surrounded by Wei Ying's best friends and couldn't get away from the group of women. So, at this moment, their time together was peaceful. He looked at the fireworks in the sky and then at Wei Ying standing beside him. Shen Mingxi felt like a lifetime had passed. If it wasn't for him back then, after marrying Wei Ying, his happy life would have begun. He wouldn't have had to suffer so much in the middle. Big Brother Mingxi, what are you thinking about? Wei Ying turned her head and looked at Shen Mingxi strangely. Nothing, I'm just thinking about the past, he said perfunctorily. Mingxi, do you remember when we were 10, my grandma's birthday? Back then, fireworks weren't popular yet. Everyone was setting off those really loud firecrackers. I was so timid that I covered my ears and didn't dare to go out. Then, you hid in my backyard with me. You were afraid that I would be bored, so you played checkers with me. Yeah, your Chinese chess skills are amazing. Shen Mingxi was instantly brought back to that year's memory. I was afraid that you wouldn't play with me, so I lied to you. Actually, I don't know how to do it, so you're using the excuse of playing checkers to get me to teach you how to play chess. Yes. Wei Ying smiled brightly. You should pay tuition. Shen Mingxi was in a good mood and joked with her. That makes sense. I'll hand it over now. Then she took out her cell phone and sent a red packet to Shen Mingxi on WeChat. Shen Mingxi took out his phone in shock. He was just joking. Why did Wei Ying take it so seriously? I don't want to. Are you dumb? I'm just kidding, open it and take a look. Master, Wei Ying stuck out her tongue playfully. Shen Mingxi clicked on the red packet and laughed out of anger. The amount inside was pitifully small, only 0.01 yuan. Yes, that's right, it was 1 cent. So, who was kidding who? Tang Chuan walked down the stairs with his arm around Qin Ning. He wanted to put on the jacket inside, but he inadvertently saw the pair in the corner. Whoa, I'm going to tell young Master Wei that his sister is dating her ex-husband. Tang Chuan immediately laughed nosily. Chapter 37:19. You're a man, how can you be so nosy? Don't you feel embarrassed? What's there to be embarrassed about? I'm in charge of consulting, understand? Huh. Ning Ning, I have an idea. Tang Chuan always came up with ideas on a whim. What idea? After we get married, you still don't have a job in China, right? What? You want to find me a job? Can't you afford to support your wife? Qin Ning rolled her eyes. Of course not. I can support you until you're 1,000 years old. Do you think I'm a turtle? 1,000 years? Qin Ning pouted and purposely argued with Tang Chuan. Oh, my little princess, my little princess. Can you not play with me like this? Can't you let me speak? Speak. Listen, your great and wise husband has a great idea. Let's buy the gossip magazines, okay? Then, I'll have all the information about the A-list celebrities in China. Things like sex scandals, cheating scandals, car sex scandals, everything. We'll be able to see them first. Just thinking about it makes me feel so cool. Go fuck yourself. What's in your head? Can't you think of something normal? Qin Ning didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Who could tell her what kind of man she was married to? He was a psychopath, it's true, little princess. Let me tell you, this is the most profitable thing right now. A while ago, I heard that there was an A-list male celebrity who's usually a good father and a good husband. His family is harmonious, and he has a son and a daughter. But, he was caught flirting with girls at a nightclub and was even photographed going into a hotel with them. In the end, he was so scared that he paid 10 million yuan to buy all the photos back and blocked the news. This is the real way to make money. Honey, with your methods, I think you can dig up 8 generations of their family. By then, I'm telling you, we'll definitely be the #1 gossip website in the country. Get out of here, I don't want to do it. That's too immoral. Celebrities are people too, they have privacy. Qin Ning might have grown up abroad, but she valued privacy a lot. Don't worry, we can start with the stars of Imperial Star. Let's start with Lord Su's men, ha ha ha. After saying that, Tang Chuan deliberately threw his head back and laughed loudly. Then Lord Su will chop you into pieces. Qin Ning finally realized that she was talking to Tang Chuan in a serious manner. Actually, it was all nonsense from the beginning to the end. It was just casual gossip. This person was really, in the end, Tang Chuan wouldn't tell Wei Liao about Wei Ying and Shen Mingxi. After all, everyone was well aware that they had feelings for each other, so there was no need to be an evil person who broke up their marriage. On the 3rd floor of the cruise ship, Huamin and his friends were watching the fireworks. It was such a pleasant scene. Birthday girl, it's your birthday today. Can you make an exception and give us some benefits? Jiang Xiaowei suddenly took the lead and started to jeer. Okay, I'll send you red packets in the group chat. Huamin smiled. No, we don't lack money. Zhu Lingling deliberately turned her head away. Then what do you want? Huamin knew that the 2 women were up to no good. They must have planned this for a long time. I want you to sing a song for us. Zhu Lingling pointed at Huamin with both hands and smirked. Sing. Forget it, I'm tone deaf. Huamin immediately begged for mercy. It's okay, we're happy to hear tone-deaf songs. We don't even want to listen to good songs. Lord Su said. Suyu, you're just enjoying the show, aren't you? Does Auntie Sue know that you're so good at adding insult to injury? Chapter 37:20. Of course my mom knows. Suyu retorted shamelessly. Yao, you have to control young Master Su. He's going to die. Sister Mian, just sing one song. Han Yueyao helped her. Whoa. You guys are in cahoots to set me up. Hearing Han Yueyao's words, Huamin couldn't help but suspect that this was a big conspiracy. Huh, sis-in-law, we're always fair. In the States, we always vote. Let's vote by a show of hands. To be fair, if one person objects, we'll veto. That's democracy. Come on, if you want to hear Miss Huamin sing, please raise your hands. Then, she raised her right hand high. Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling raised their hands together. Gao Ran and Wei Liao were definitely on Huamian's side. Tang Chuan and Suyu looked at each other and raised their hands with evil intentions. Standing beside Suyu, Han Yueyao also raised her hand quietly, not daring to look at Huamin. Ha ha ha. You guys are awesome. Huamin felt like he was completely set up by these guys. Don't worry. It's not enough. We're still here. Then, Ni Yang, Chen Jia, Zhixin, and Bella all raised their hands. Honey. Huamin turned to look at Qin Chu with an aggrieved expression. Honey, you have a good voice. Show them. Don't control yourself. Then, Mr. Qin also raised his hand. Huamin felt his head buzzing. You guys, aren't you going a little overboard? It's okay, Mommy. Even if the whole world abandons you, I won't be on your side. Ha. After laughing, Little Bean raised her hand. Then, Gao Buiyuan immediately followed her. Pudding. Mommy treats you well. Huamin placed his last hope on Pudding. Mommy, I understand what you're feeling right now. Yes, yes. Mommy doesn't know how to sing and they're all bad people. So, Pudding, you have to help Mommy turn the tables, okay? Mommy, I think you can give it a try. Pudding said. Pudding, you, Mommy, just sing and let them know how terrible your singing is. Then, no one will dare to ask you to sing again. Isn't that a good thing? Once and for all. Huamin, after Pudding finished her words, everyone burst into laughter. While Huamin was in despair, Pudding and Wei Yunchu also raised their hands. Okay, since no one is against it, you can start preparing. Qin Ning smiled. Can I raise my hand to object? Objection overruled, Qin Ning said. It looks like I have to show you my singing voice today. Huamin was speechless. Yes, even if you sing Two Tigers for us, we won't blame you. That's impossible. At least Two Tigers has lyrics. I should sing Perturbed until the end. The noise will kill you. Huamin angrily put her hands on her hips and looked at these traitors. She was heartbroken. She was mercilessly isolated by everyone. Sis-in-law, do you need accompaniment? I'll call the band. Qin Ning smiled. No. Sis-in-law, then get ready. I'll turn on the live stream for you. After all, singing off-key is a special skill. Ha ha ha. I'll let you gain a lot of fans on the live stream platform and become famous all over the country. Tang Chuan took out his cell phone and showed it to Huamin. How can you bully me like this? Aren't you afraid that my son will come out and take revenge? Huamin touched his belly and scolded everyone in all seriousness. Chapter 37:21. It's fine, it'll be 18 years later when your son gets his revenge. We're not afraid, Gao Ran interrupted. Hurry up and sing, sis, it'll be too late soon, Zhixin mumbled. Hey, why didn't I realize that you liked to hit people when they were down? Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Was Zhixin really his brother? Was he sent by monkeys to trick his sister? Honey, don't be afraid, when you sing later, I'll ask everyone to try their best to hold back, not laugh out loud. Chin Chu comforted him. Huamin, okay, Dr. Hua, hurry up, it won't be romantic after the fireworks, Suyu urged. Huamin was a person who didn't want to show off, so she rarely hogged the microphone at KTV. Or she would usually show off and show off. Even Chin Chu rarely heard her sing after being with her for so many years. After all, she didn't have the talent in that area, so Huamin never showed off. Today, someone came up with a bad idea. Huamin guessed that it was Zhu Lingling. Because when she was in school, Wang Fei's songs were very popular. Huamin liked to listen to Wang Fei's Red Bean and I Do. So she often hummed that melody, and every time she hummed, Zhu Lingling would laugh until her stomach hurt. She was indeed out of tune, but Huamin was innocent. She had always thought that Wang Fei's songs were too complicated. If it was as simple as a happy birthday song, how could she be out of tune? Alright, since you guys insist on pushing me to my limits, I'll just have to bite the bullet and give it a try. But I'll say the ugly words first. If anyone laughs while I'm singing, then the friendship boat will immediately capsize. Yes, I'll do what I say. Huh, is that a threat? Tang Chuan laughed. It's not wrong for you to think so. Chin Chu looked at his wife. She looked like a little wife who had been bullied. She was so cute. This time, he had not wasted his time. He had gone all out and stood on everyone's side to trick his wife. She had indeed seen Huamin's extremely adorable side. This was as rare as a peacock spreading its tail. Then I'll sing you guys a song that I like recently, Huamin said. Okay. Is it Mao Bai's Cramping Up with Laughter and A Person Like Me? Tang Chuan thought he was smart. No. Then it must be Jay's Confession Balloon or Tian Fusion's A Little Luck. Tang Chuan felt that these songs had the highest popularity, so it must be these songs. However, Huamin shook his head again. Alright. Anyway, anything is fine. We'll listen to whatever you sing. After Suyu finished speaking, he sat in a circle with everyone. Huamin stood in the middle. Qin Ning even handed him a microphone. Sis-in-law, take it. Otherwise, the fireworks will be too loud and we won't be able to hear it. Huamin looked at the microphone in his hand and touched his forehead. What other tricks do you guys have? Bring them all out. Haha, that's all. Okay, contestant, you can start your performance. Zhu Lingling laughed until she was convulsing. Then, instructors, do you guys need to ask what my dream is? Huamin said deliberately. No need to ask. Your dream must be to bury all of us alive, Suyu guessed. Oh, Lord Su is smart. Huamin pointed at Suyu. Sis, don't waste time. Everyone is waiting. Hurry up. Jixin seemed to have not heard his sister sing in a long time and was looking forward to something. Chapter 37:22. Ahem. Since you guys are so sadistic, I'll sing for real. I won't be responsible if you throw up. Huamin threatened for the last time, hoping that someone would give up. It's okay, Dr. Hua. We brought our own plastic bags. Wei Liao was a true black-bellied pervert. Huh, honey, good job, Jiang Xiaowei laughed. What did it feel like to be bullied by so many people? Was there a need to ask? It felt so good, then 1, 2, 3, sing. Suyu was going crazy from Huamin's nonsense, so he shouted the slogan. Huamin lowered his head and tried the microphone. Hey, it was actually quite useful. Even the joke about the microphone being broken didn't seem to work. He might as well grit his teeth and sing a song. In fact, many of the people who did this were very good at singing, and Ni Yang was even a god of singing. When he debuted, he was the lead singer of a group. Suyu and Chin Chu both had beautiful voices and had professional music lessons. They were much better than Huamin. So, if he sang in front of so many professionals, Huamin felt that he would embarrass himself. So, he chose a relatively simple song. He just hoped that the tune wouldn't be too Spanish. So, after 3 seconds of silence, Huamin lowered his head and put a golden microphone on his mouth. Then he sang softly, "Sunny days, or rainy days. Calm moods. Once I lost my toy and cried hard. Sunny days after the rain, the clouds are more beautiful. Like a rainbow smiling. Be a brave little shining sun, facing the wind and flying forward, waving its wings. Bring hope to everyone around you. Warm the bridal chamber, you'll reach happiness, heaven." Mommy sang this song. Little Bean was speechless. "I think it's amazing that this song didn't disappear," Pudding commented sincerely. "Suyu, what song is this?" "It's pretty good." Suyu had never heard this song before, so he was quite excited. "Zhu Lingling, it's for children. It's called Little Sun. My Mian is also talented. She said she wouldn't sing Two Tigers and Little Sun instead. Tang Chuan, will she sing Little Moon next time? Jiang Xiaowei, maybe she'll sing The Fifth Ring. And, I think it's good that President Hua can sing. Let's not be picky." Ni Yang, sis, I admire you. Ni Yang was overjoyed as he leaned on Shinjie's shoulder. He didn't think that his genius sister would fail. Tone deaf? Alright then, I'll pick a simple song to sing. The lyrics were less than 200 words, and the melody was as simple as counting ducks. Did I pass? So, what's now? Shouldn't there be applause? Huamin held the microphone, feeling awkward. Good job. Honey, you're so good, Mr. Qin clapped by himself, but the sparse applause made it even more awkward in the middle of the crowd. What are you guys playing at? If you force me again, I'll... Don't jump. It's the ocean below, Tang Chuan teased Huamin. You're overthinking it, young man. What I mean is, if you're still not satisfied, I'll get my bodyguards to push you all down. Everyone, good. Mian sang so well. Come on, let's clap. Zhu Lingling saw that Huamian was using this trick, so she quickly went to support her. Only then did everyone laugh and clap. Then, Huamin tossed the microphone aside and took out his cell phone. At this sacred moment, he posted on his WeChat moments. Chapter 37:23. She wrote, "My friends all say that my singing is terrible and that I'm tone deaf. I feel that I have too many friends." After reading it, everyone didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Huamin didn't sing Little Sun because she wanted to use a nursery rhyme to get away with it. Others might not understand, but Qin Chu did. Huamin loved to sing because of the lyrics. For example, she was obsessed with Zhang Guorong's Silence is Golden for many years. Later, she even begged Qin Chu to sing a Cantonese version for her. It wasn't because she followed the trend. After all, it was a very old song. Many people from the 1990s or even the 2000s might not have heard of it. Huamin liked it because of a line in the lyrics. It went like this: "You're destined to be rich or poor, wrong is never right, true is always true. No matter what you say, I'll stay true to myself, I'll always believe that silence is golden." So, Huamin's low profile over the years was the main reason why she was so successful today. After teasing Huamin, everyone dispersed. Some went to eat, some went to drink champagne. Some went to watch the fireworks. Because Huamin was pregnant, Qin Chu was worried that she wouldn't be able to take it. So, he asked her to take care of the twins. He helped her all the way back to the resting room. "Honey, yeah? Did I sing well just now?" "Yes." I know you don't dare to say that it's bad. After all, you're afraid that I'll be angry." "No, it was really good," Qin Chu said seriously. "Really?" Huamin was skeptical. "Honey, you're like a little sun. Not only do you warm me up, but you also light up everyone around me. Oh, Mr. Qin, you're so mushy." Huamin covered her face with her hands, feeling hot. She truly felt that she was a little sun. She wanted her family and friends to be happy because of her. But she couldn't say this. It wasn't right for her to say it. Chin Chu was indeed the person who understood her the best in the world. And he could see it so clearly. I'm not being mushy, I'm just telling the truth. Dr. Hua, you are the best. Hua Min sat on the edge of the bed while Chin Chu squatted in front of her. He bowed his head gently and tied the loose shoelaces for her. Hua Min felt that if she could live happily for the rest of her life, it would be God's greatest favor for her. Later on, when Hua Min went through some unbearable things, when she endured the toughest test of fate, every time she felt that she couldn't live on, every time she wanted to die, she would think of this warm scene. Chin Chu bowed his head and tied her shoelaces. His handsome side face touched the softest part of Hua Min's heart. Chin Chu was a very cold person. He rarely showed any emotions to others. So, his gentleness only belonged to Hua Min. What are you thinking about? You haven't said anything. When Chin Chu looked up, he saw Hua Min staring at him in a daze. Honey, will you be this good to me for the rest of your life? What do you think? Chin Chu's lips curled up slightly. His signature smile was enough to make any woman's heart flutter. I want you to say it yourself. Hua Min was as willful as a child. She was pregnant, and she pinched Mr. Chin's flawless face with both hands. Of course. What if I change in the future? I'm no longer the good Hua Min. Will you still treat me like this? Hua Min's question was a little sad. Chapter 37-24. Chin Chu looked at Hua Min's face and smiled. Then, he enunciated each word clearly. Hua Min, listen to me. You're Chin Chu's wife. You're the closest person to me in this world. From now on, even if you've committed a heinous crime, I'll still love you as much as I did in the past. Hua Min knew that Chin Chu didn't like sweet nothings. Every word he said was from the bottom of his heart. So, at this moment, her eyes were slightly wet and her nose stung. Don't tell me you're so touched that you're about to cry. Chin Chu reached out and rubbed the tip of Hua Min's nose with his crooked index finger. It was a classic gesture of coaxing a child. No, I'm hungry. Honey, I want to eat something. Okay, what do you want to eat? I'll get someone to make it and send it over. No, I want to eat your black pepper pasta. Chin Chu, can I? Hua Min asked coquettishly. Of course, of course. Actually, I'm not the one who wants to eat it. Your son wants to eat it. Hua Min smirked. My son isn't even born yet and he's already carrying so much blame. Will he grow taller in the future? Ha 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 ha, Hua Min couldn't stop laughing. Sometimes, Mr. Chin's dry humor would make her laugh out loud. Hua Min's birthday party ended just like that. After midnight, Tang Chuan arranged for a lucky draw. He spent a lot of money and used a lot of gifts from the guests. Then, the cruise ship approached the shore and everyone got off. When Hua Min and the others returned to South Hill Manor, it was already 1:30 a.m. Pudding and Little Bean were so sleepy that they fell into a deep sleep on the way back. It's finally over. Hua Min leaned her head on Chin Chu's shoulder and heaved a sigh of relief. Chin Chu knew she was worried about those things. Hua Xiqian escaped, but 2 of his accomplices died. Nia Lingxian was hypnotized and controlled. Although she was cured by the professor's antidote, he didn't know if she would be used again. At least, it wasn't safe there. Hua Min, too, told Chin Chu to talk to Rick about this. He told him to be more strict and take good care of Cece, who was about to give birth. People were all killed by Chin's men. Of course, those people were located by the professor using high-tech equipment. Lu Yan's appearance was both reasonable and unexpected. If Lu Yan hadn't come, maybe Zheng Rou's listening device would have eavesdropped on more things. The result wasn't satisfactory. Hua Xiqian escaped and Zheng Rou got off the ship. But Hua Min knew it was the best result that they didn't cause any trouble. At least, he didn't want the people around her to be in danger on her birthday. Xingro was in a mess. She didn't know how to explain to her superiors that she hadn't completed her mission. Of course, she didn't know that Lu Yan, whom she wanted to spy on, was back. She just didn't have the chance to see her. When Xingro got off the ship, she was right behind Su Yu and Han Yueyao. Hee hee. It's good to have a protector. Things are different now. Xingro's words were full of sarcasm. If it were before, Su Yu might feel bad and ask him to take Xingro back first. But now, he pretended not to hear her. He reached out and put his arm around Han Yueyao's shoulder intimately. Let's go. I'll take you back. Chapter 37-25. Han Yueyao nodded cooperatively and leaned into Su Yu's arms like a little bird. Furious, Xingro turned around and left. She hailed a taxi and went back to the hospital. At the door of the VIP ward, the 4 bodyguards took turns to guard Xingro. Miss Ro, you're back. The bodyguards greeted her, but Xingro didn't respond with her pale face. After entering the ward, she tossed her handbag onto the bed. Then she saw Guyu lying on the sofa. At this moment, her cell phone rang. She glanced at the number and pressed it without hesitation. It was a secret signal. The chief was about to ask for the result. Xingro stood up in a hurry and took a deep breath before dialing another number. At this moment the professor had parted ways with Lu Yan and returned to the States in secret. Lu Yan was on a private jet heading to Las Vegas. She was going to pick up Xiao Fei and replace the fake Lu Yan without anyone noticing. Then, she would create a scene in the casino so that more people would think that she had been in Las Vegas all along. Boss, do you want something to eat? No. How about red wine? I'll have a glass. Wearing a bathrobe, Huamin had just showered and was lying on the sofa watching the international news. She was wearing a tiny listening device with a blue light on her ear. This was the device she had installed on Xingro's handbag. She believed she would get something from it. That woman had eavesdropped on her sister. Now she was going to eavesdrop on her. Sure enough, after a series of noises, Xingro's voice came into the listening device. Chief. How's it going? On the other end of the line was an old voice. Lu Yan listened carefully and found she had never heard of this voice before. She guessed it was a man between 55 and 65 years old. Chief, something went wrong with my listening device. I think I might have been exposed. How's that possible? Our device is the most advanced on the market. It's made by a military factory. How could it be discovered? Besides, if Qin Chu had the ability, he would have discovered it long ago instead of waiting until later. Did something go wrong? I'm not sure either. I only know that I couldn't hear anything after that. Did nothing happen on the ship? Other than Hua Xiqian's group, I didn't find anyone else. Lu Yan didn't come? The man didn't believe it. She heard her name being mentioned on the phone. Lu Yan found it interesting and smiled slightly. The hand holding the glass of red wine also moved. Lu Yan didn't come. At least I didn't see her. Xingro said. Lu Yan didn't come, but she should have called. Xingro, are you hiding something from me? Chief, for so long, didn't I do everything you asked me to do? Last time, in order to gain your trust, I saved Huamin even though I was in danger of being chased by a group of masked perverts. When have I ever disobeyed your orders? Why do you suspect that I'm hiding something from you? I'm just asking casually, don't overthink it. Maybe you're too tired. Yes, I'm really tired today. Thinking of Su Yu's attitude toward her and what happened on the ship, Xingro was furious. Okay, let's call it a day. Since we failed this time, we'll think of another way. Hearing the conversation, Lu Yan took out her device and recorded the voice of the mysterious chief. Then she ordered her subordinates, go and take this voice and search it in the national database to see if you can find out who this person is. Lu Yan's thoughts were simple and violent. This person had set his eyes on her sister, so she shouldn't let him live. Chapter 37-26. After Han Yueyao got into Su Yu's black Lamborghini, she didn't say a word. However, as soon as she got into the car, Su Yu seemed to be thinking about something else. They stayed in silence for about 20 minutes, when they were about to arrive at the staff dormitory. Su Yu asked, "Are you hungry? Are you crazy? Didn't you see what I ate on the cruise?" Han Yueyao rolled her eyes. "I saw it." "Then why did you ask? Did you do it on purpose?" "No. I was thinking that since you can eat so much, you might want to have another meal before bed." Han Yueyao, President Su, why is your company called Imperial Star if you're so good at finding fault? You should ask people to find fault with you. Ha. I just like to find fault with others, but I don't allow others to find fault with me. So, you're shameless to a new level. But I'm lonely without an opponent, so God sent you. Su Yu called Han Yueyao a shameless person in a roundabout way. He thought the girl would be furious, but to his surprise, she only switched her phone to calculator mode. "Tonight, you used me as a shield many times. Fortunately, I'm strong. If I wasn't strong enough, I would have had a heart attack. Didn't I give you money? That's not enough. You took a selfie with me with my phone, so I'll give you a discount, 10,000 yuan each. When we got off the cruise, you hugged me in front of Zheng Ro. This time, in front of so many people, you gave me at least 30,000 yuan. Then, I got into your car in front of so many people. I don't know what they'll think, so my reputation is damaged. As for my reputation, since I'm not famous yet, I'll charge you 10,000 yuan. 10,000 yuan plus 30,000 yuan plus 10,000 yuan. That's 50,000 yuan. But, since you're my boss, the big boss, I'll give you a 15% discount. So, you still need to give me 42,500 yuan. You're shameless." Su Yu was exasperated. "Since you're shameless enough to give me that much, of course I'm shameless enough to take it. I don't have that much cash." Su Yu seemed to want to deny it. "No problem. You can write me an IOU." Han Yueyao smiled. "Sorry, I didn't bring a pen and paper." "It's okay, I have it." She reached into her bag and took out a black ballpoint pen and a sticky note. "Su Yu, good, Han Yueyao. You've prepared everything. Don't tell me you even brought a POS machine. I can swipe my card or something. Tisk, that's so troublesome. You still have to buy that thing. It's troublesome. You can just transfer the money to me via WeChat. In your dreams, but I came from Xiaomei, believe it or not, I can shut you out immediately, and make you a menial worker in Imperial Star for the rest of your life." Su Yu instantly brought out the aura of a big boss and a capitalist. "I hope I can shock this little girl. Who knew? Sure, I don't want to be famous anyway. If you give me enough money for my retirement, I can retire early right now." Su Yu, he didn't know when the two of them started bickering. Su Yu felt that he was quite used to this rhythm. It seemed that this sharp-tongued little girl couldn't provoke him at all. Occasionally, he felt that her words and expressions were quite amusing. Perhaps it was because he was still thinking about how to retaliate against Han Yueyao. Therefore, when Su Yu relaxed, he didn't notice the big truck that was rushing toward him. Ah. Su Yu. By the time Han Yueyao noticed it, it was already too late. Her eyes widened as she screamed. Upon hearing her scream, Su Yu finally saw the huge truck that was about to take their lives. Chapter 37-27. That night, if Su Yu hadn't reacted quickly enough, the two of them would have died here. Su Yu had been driving for many years, so he could drive with his eyes closed without any problem. Because he was too familiar with the roads in this city. If it wasn't for someone deliberately trying to blackmail him, he almost never got into a car accident. Although he had a bad temper, he drove very steadily. He didn't fight or get angry on the road. He completely obeyed the traffic rules. But even so, Suyu still didn't expect what happened tonight. At the intersection, although he was driving a sports car, he didn't overtake, run the red light, or exceed the speed limit. He was driving normally. The big truck came from the right and ran the red light. It was very fast. Han Yueao was sitting on the right. If Suyu had reacted a little slower, then Han Yueao might have died on the spot. It was precisely because Suyu reacted in time and stepped on the accelerator. He was just a little faster than the big truck, therefore, although the big truck was coming aggressively, it only hit the back of the Lamborghini. But because Suyu was too fast, when he rushed out, the car crashed into a big tree by the side of the road. At the moment of collision, Suyu instinctively tilted the steering wheel to protect the front passenger seat from the gravitational pull. Han Yueao felt pain all over her body. In TV dramas, other people would be unconscious after a car accident. Then, she would wait for the ambulance to arrive. However, she didn't faint at all. Instead, she felt clearer and clearer. After a loud clang, the car crashed into a tree. Suyu's Lamborghini Sixth Element, which had been driving for 5 years, officially announced its retirement. But at that time, he didn't have time to think. Fortunately, the intersection where the accident happened was densely populated. Even in the middle of the night, such a big accident happened. People who opened shops nearby and night joggers came over to watch. Some called the police, while others called the ambulance. Suyu felt his head heavy, and then something seemed to flow out. He was pressed down and couldn't move. Suyu. Wake up. Don't sleep, don't sleep. Han Yueao wasn't seriously injured, so she kept reminding Suyu. You're so annoying. How can I sleep with you talking like that? When Suyu spoke, there was a sweet taste in his throat. But as a man, especially a man from the north, he couldn't say that he was in pain. That would be too pretentious. The ambulance will be here soon, you have to hang in there. As she spoke, Han Yueao. It was the first time she had been so scared. She wasn't scared that Suyu's family would blame her. Or that she was afraid that Suyu would feel guilty because he wanted to protect her. She was afraid that if Suyu died, she would never see him again. It was the simplest, and it was this kind of fear. You make it sound like I'm going to die right now. Suyu joked. Sure enough, the ambulance came quickly. Maybe it was because of Suyu's license plate. Therefore, the police, traffic police, and ambulances were all dispatched. The ambulance from the first hospital came the fastest, followed by the one from South Side. Logically speaking, the first hospital was closer, so they should go there. However, Suyu actually said, I want to go to South Side. Give it to South Side. Han Yueao knew that he wanted to go to South Side purely because he trusted Huamin. Just like that, she didn't dare to neglect the young master of the Su family. The nurse in the ambulance pushed the two of them to South Side for resuscitation. When Huamin received the news, Suyu had already been pushed into the operating room for 10 minutes. Suyu and Qin Chu turned off the lights and were about to go to bed when they received a call from the hospital. Then, without saying anything, the two of them sped all the way. When Huamin arrived, he saw Lady Su squatting on the ground and crying at the entrance of the operating room. She was accompanied by her family's nanny and bodyguards. Chapter 37-28. Auntie Su. Huamin greeted Lady Su with a hoarse voice. Hearing Huamin's voice, Lady Su slowly got up from the ground. Then, as if she had seen hope, she ran over and held Huamin's hand. Mian. Help me save you. I beg you, Auntie, Suyu will be fine. Don't worry. Mian, you're a miraculous doctor. Everyone says that you're a genius. I believe that no matter how difficult the surgery is, it won't be a problem for you. Can you help me save you? I can't lose him. He's my only son. I can't afford to lose him. Lady Su had never experienced something like this before. Therefore, at this moment, her usual intelligence, wisdom, and gentleness were all gone. Instead, it was replaced by a mother worried about her child. Hua Min held Lady Su's hand tightly. "Auntie, don't worry. Su Yu's matters are the same as my own. I will definitely do my best." Okay. That's good. Auntie, Mian is best at obstetrics and gynecology. That's her specialty. Su Yu hit his head in the car accident, so it's brain surgery. Leave it to me. If you trust me, I'll give it a try. Qin Chu said quietly behind Hua Min. Lady Su's eyes lit up when she heard Qin Chu's words. Yes, if Qin Chu didn't mention it, she would have forgotten that Qin Chu was the best brain surgeon. Back then, he performed an extremely awesome surgery as soon as he returned to China. She heard that it was a certain leader in Jing City, therefore, Madame Su's heart, which had been hanging by a thread, was instantly relieved. Chu, I'll leave it to you, Qin Chu nodded. Hubby, don't waste any more time. Change into your clothes and enter the operating theater. I've already informed them. I'll get the assistant doctor to bring you in. Hua Min also had the same idea. On the way here, the couple had discussed it. Hua Min also wanted to go in, but she was pregnant now, so it was not very convenient for her to move around. Moreover, Qin Chu was right. No matter how talented Hua Min was, the head was not her specialty. Qin Chu quickly changed into a surgical gown and followed the assistant doctor into the operating theater. Auntie, where is Han Yueao? She's in the ward downstairs. The orthopedics department said so. Is it serious? Hua Min asked worriedly. Of course it's not as serious as Yu's. The traffic police said that the driver's accident was the most serious. Don't worry. With Qin Chu here, everything will be fine. After comforting Lady Su, Hua Min changed into the white gown the nurse brought for him and went downstairs to Han Yueao's ward. Han Yueao was in the ward with a cast on her leg. Since she didn't need surgery, she only needed to lie in bed. But with her current mood, she couldn't lie down. Pretty nurse, I beg you, please let me see Su Yu. It's not that I don't want you to see him, but young Master Su's surgery is still ongoing. No one can see him. The nurse also tried her best to persuade him. She knew that he was Vice Director Hua's friend, so she took care of him carefully. Then when will the surgery be over? We don't know. Let's wait for the news. Your ribs and legs are injured. You should rest. I don't want to rest. I want to wait for the news from Su Yu. You must inform me as soon as possible. As they talked, the door was pushed open. Vice Director. Seeing Hua Min enter, the nurse stood up respectfully. Hua Min nodded. Sister Mian. How's Su Yu? Will he die? Hearing this question, Han Yueao burst into tears again. Yes, she was afraid that Su Yu would die. She was really afraid. Chapter 37-29. You can all leave. Hua Min didn't answer immediately. Instead, she turned her head and asked the two nurses behind her to leave. After closing the door, she sat down beside Han Yueao. She casually took an apple from the fruit basket that Mrs. Su had ordered someone to send over on the table. Then she picked up the fruit knife and skillfully peeled the apple. Do you like apples? Sister Mian, I'm not in the mood to eat apples at a time like this. Tell me, or I'll go crazy. Han Yueao almost beat her chest and stomped her feet. Then let me ask you, what are you going to do if Su Yu dies? What are you going to do if he doesn't? You probably haven't thought about it yet. Sister Mian, I don't think Su Yu will die. See, you already know the answer in your heart, but you still keep asking me. Aren't you a doctor? Don't you know the situation best? I'm a doctor, but I didn't enter the OR. When I came, Su Yu was already in the OR. It's been almost 20 minutes now. Then, is the situation optimistic? To be honest, I don't know. Hua Min said calmly, Sister Mian, if something happens to Su Yu, you'll be sad, right? Of course. He's always been an important family member to me. Hua Min's tone was still calm. She just lowered her head and kept peeling the apple. I hope he's okay. I'll repay him even if I have to be his maid for the rest of my life. With that, Han Yueyao cried again. After all, she was a little girl and didn't have much social experience. No matter how smart and calm she usually was, she still couldn't control the situation at a critical moment. It sounds like you owe him. Hua Min smiled. Then, she cut a small piece of peeled apple and handed it to Han Yueyao. Sister Mian. When the truck hit me, I was supposed to die. He reacted quickly, so he sped up. When he rushed out, I was supposed to hit the tree, but he turned the steering wheel at the last minute. At that moment of life and death, Han Yueyao paused because she didn't know how to continue. Hua Min was smart enough to understand what happened. To put it simply, Suyu saved Han Yueyao at a critical moment. A normal driver would protect himself at a critical moment. When they were young, Hua Min and Ji Xin took the bus. Her mother would repeatedly remind her to remember to sit behind the driver when she was in the car. Because when something happened, the driver would protect them. Therefore, this row of people would not be seriously injured, but the other row, Suyu, on the other hand, seemed to have sacrificed himself at the critical moment to protect Han Yueyao. However, Hua Mian wasn't surprised at all. Suyu had always been a man. If Suyu chose to protect him and Han Yueyao died, then this man would have a guilty conscience for the rest of his life. Suyu did that. It's normal, Yao Yao. I'm not trying to hurt you. You don't have to get involved in this matter because Suyu would do the same for anyone in the car, including An, Qin Ning, Wei Liao, me, Pudding, and Little Bean. In short, those who can sit in the passenger seat of Suyu must be family and friends he cares about. He definitely wouldn't do something so selfish, so you don't have to feel too guilty. Hua Min was telling the truth, but he also wanted to comfort Han Yueyao. Sure enough, hearing his words, Han Yueyao felt better. Sister Mian, everyone says that you're very skilled in medicine. So? Hua Min raised an eyebrow. He knew that Han Yueyao had something else to say. Chapter 37:30. So, why don't you go in and operate on him yourself? I heard that when President Qin was shot, you took it out yourself. Han Yueyao knew that her question was straightforward. She meant that if Suyu cared about her husband, why didn't he care about Suyu? However, she was a straightforward person and asked whatever she wanted to ask. Hua Min probably knew her personality. Do you also think that since Suyu treats me so well, I have to go in myself? I just think that since you're so kind, you must be very anxious. After all, he's such an important friend of yours. Han Yueyao felt that her question was inappropriate and hurtful. After all, how could Hua Min not care about Suyu at all? Otherwise, why would she come to Southside in the middle of the night when she was pregnant and had a hard time on the boat? Because it's not the right time to operate on him. Hua Min didn't explain much. He wasn't a professional, but Qin Chu was. He didn't say that the older she was, the more frequent the fetal movements, and the more naughty the child in her belly was. Now that Hua Min was sleeping in the middle of the night, she might wake up if the child kicked her hard. Therefore, she didn't dare to operate on a brain patient under such circumstances. Even if it was an ordinary patient, she wouldn't dare to be so irresponsible, let alone someone as important as Suyu. But there was no need to say these things out loud. There were some things that were best understood in one's heart, including Suyu's place in Hua Min's heart. There was no need to prove it to anyone. It was obvious that Hua Min wasn't very interested in this topic. Han Yueyao didn't say anything else. I read your medical record. You only have broken ribs and legs. That's lucky. Otherwise, people would believe that you wouldn't survive based on the extent of the damage to the Lamborghini. Yes, I thought I wouldn't survive. Later, when the airbag popped out, I didn't fall unconscious. Maybe I thought I wouldn't die. Do your parents know? I don't know. I don't want to tell them. Anyway, I won't be disabled. Alright, but you won't be able to move around for a while. You have to stay in the hospital. Write down what you want to eat on the list. I'll get the nurse to buy it for you. Thanks, Sister Mian. Han Yueyao thought Huamin had done his best to take care of her even though she wasn't his relative. Yao Yao. What was the car that hit you? A big dark blue truck. Oh. Did you see the driver inside clearly? No. It was too fast. Why? Did the driver run away? Han Yueyao looked nervous. No, the driver is dead. In Huamin's phone, there was a copy of the accident scene information that he had asked Gao Ran to get from the traffic police. Neither the truck nor the driver were local. After the driver ran the red light, his own car crashed into the cement wall of a building by the roadside. Therefore, the driver's ending was also very tragic. The truck's mask was completely destroyed, and the driver died on the spot. If he's dead, does that mean he won't be able to pay for our medical expenses? To be honest, Han Yueyao was quite distressed. This time, she would have to spend a lot of money. She had thought that if the driver was caught, he would at least have to pay for the medical expenses. He couldn't be hit by a car and have to pay for it, right? Now, it didn't look good. Even if he's alive, I'm afraid he won't be able to pay for your medical expenses. Huamin looked down at the information on his phone and said softly. Sister Mian, why do you say that? Han Yueyao was slightly surprised. Chapter 37-31. Because this driver is very poor. He's 31 years old and unmarried. He adopted a disabled boy and sent him to a rescue center because he couldn't afford to raise him. He has no family in the world. The house is rented, and the car is his boss's. He's addicted to alcohol. So this time, it's also a drunk driver, drunk driving. It's really harmful to others and ourselves. For the first time, Han Yueyao hated drunk driving so much. So in this situation, even if he's alive, he can't compensate you. He can only go to jail. Yeah. It seems we're unlucky. Han Yueyao really thought she might be unlucky. If someone else was hit by a BMW, Mercedes-Benz, or Porsche, they could at least make a fortune. When she was hit by a car, she became a poor alcoholic. Not only did she have no money, but she was also dead. What else could she do? Sister Mian, what about my medical fees? Han Yueyao wanted to say that she didn't have that much money. She knew that the medical fees at Southside had always been frighteningly expensive. She wanted to say that she could write an IOU and ask Huamin to pay for it first. She could pay it back slowly. But after all, she was a girl and couldn't bring herself to say it. In fact, it was no different from borrowing money. Don't worry about the medical fees. Auntie Sue has already paid for you. Even if Auntie Sue didn't pay, I'll pay for you. I won't take advantage of you for free. When the time comes, I'll pay for my share. Sister Mian, remember the money for me. Okay. In order not to hurt her self-esteem, Huamin only smiled and said okay. Then Huamin fed her all the apples and left the ward. When Huamin returned to the operating room, everyone was already there. Tang Chuan, Qin Ning, Wei Liao, Xiao Wei, and Shen Mingxi were also here, but Wei Ying was nowhere to be seen. Gao Ran was also here. Afraid that everyone would be suspicious, he deliberately said, Wei Yuan is asleep. Lingling doesn't want to leave him alone. Different from Wei Liao's family, the Wei family had many servants and lived the life of a rich family. Although the Gao family wasn't bad, because of Gao Ran's identity, they lived the life of an ordinary person. Zhu Lingling didn't have a housekeeper, so she had to do the laundry, cooking, and taking care of the father and son. At this time, no one would nitpick. After all, everyone knew the situation. Chu is in surgery. Gao ran. Yeah. How long ago? It's been a while, about half an hour. Hua Mian looked down at her phone and told him the time. Fuck, where's the driver? Gao ran. Tell me who he is, and I'll cripple him right now. It was Olds, SSSS. Olds, SSSS. She's at the #1 funeral parlor in the suburbs, huh? Dead? Tang Chuan was surprised. Yeah. He died on the spot in the car accident. Su Yu reacted quickly and dodged the fatal hit. He was injured because he hit a tree, Gao Ran explained. Hearing this, everyone fell silent. At a time like this, they all hoped that Su Yu would be fine. Don't worry about Mr. Qin's medical skills. Lord Su will be fine. Let's think about what big gift we should give to Su Yu after the surgery. Hua Mian's words made everyone's tense hearts relax a lot. Then, Hua Min glanced at Gao Ran with a complicated expression. She lowered her voice and whispered in Gao Ran's ear, "Come with me." Chapter 37-32. Gao Ran saw that Hua Min had called him out so mysteriously, so something must have happened. Moreover, it was something that couldn't be said in front of everyone. Therefore, Gao Ran quietly followed behind Hua Min. The two of them turned around and came to a remote corner. Hua Min looked around and saw that there was no one around. Then, he looked at Gao Ran and said, "Can you help me investigate something?" "Okay, what do you want me to investigate?" "Help me investigate the driver who caused the accident." "Zhao Fu? Isn't he dead?" Gao Ran didn't understand. The truck driver was drunk and dead. What else was there to investigate? It's because he's dead that we need to investigate. You suspect that there's something fishy about this? Gao Ran finally understood Hua Min's intentions. Yes, if he's not dead, I wouldn't be so suspicious. Let me ask you. A car accident happened to pass by that intersection in the middle of the night. Then, he was drunk and didn't run any red lights on the way. However, he ran a red light and crashed into Su Yu. What makes me even more suspicious is why the driver is someone from the Shen family with such a simple background. He's an orphan, has no parents, is unmarried, and has only one child. He was adopted and then sent away. This means that this man doesn't have any family in this world. Now that you mention it, I'm also puzzled. It's really strange, it's very strange. I wanted to ask Mr. Qin to help me investigate, but he's in the operating room right now. So, Gao Ran, you have to help me with this. Don't worry. If someone really set this up, I won't let them off. Gao Ran knew that Hua Min had always been smart and wouldn't suspect something for no reason. However, this incident was too cleverly planned. Once the truck driver died, there would be no evidence. The traffic police would just treat it as an ordinary traffic accident. However, was it really an ordinary traffic accident? If it wasn't for Su Yu's calm mind, the truck driver wouldn't have been the only one who would have died tonight. Su Yu and Han Yueyao would probably die as well. Hua Min hoped that he was just being paranoid and hoped that nothing would be found. If all of this was really planned by someone, then how terrifying would it be? Was he trying to kill Su Yu? To be honest, Hua Min had suspected Xing Rou at first. Xing Rou seemed to dislike Su Yu and despised Han Yueyao. But on second thought, no matter how bold Xing Rou was, she wouldn't dare to scheme against Su Yu. With Su Yu's background, if he was found out, Xing Rou wouldn't be able to live. Even Xing Rou's father was to blame. Thinking of this, Hua Min felt that it was impossible for Xing Rou to be the culprit. Besides, Xing Rou seemed shocked when she heard the news. She went to Su Yu's operating room and even went to the orthopedic ward and cursed Han Yueyao as a jinx. Mian, if this incident was really planned by someone, who do you think it would be? Does Lord Su have many enemies? Hua Min asked Gao Ran. Yes. It was the truth. Su Yu had a bad temper and had offended many people in his business. Does he have enemies who hate him for his investment and want to kill him? I don't know. We'll have to ask Su Yu when he wakes up. But to be honest, Mian, how confident are you and Chu to save Suyu? Will he wake up? Gao Ran thought this car accident was very serious and it was uncertain whether Suyu could wake up. Chapter 37-33. To be honest, I'm not sure either. I didn't enter the operating room, so I don't know the exact situation. But I believe that my husband will do his best to save Suyu. Huamin didn't dare to say anything else, but she could absolutely guarantee this. She knew Qin Chu's character best. In fact, if Huamin wasn't pregnant and wasn't a professional, Qin Chu wouldn't have come forward. This was because if Suyu's injuries were serious and he couldn't be saved in the end, Qin Chu might be blamed for not wanting to save his love rival. Perhaps the Su family would blame him for the rest of his life. If he could be saved, everything would be fine. Huamin and Qin Chu had already thought about the consequences of this matter on their way here. In the end, the couple unanimously decided that Suyu had to be saved. They had to save him even if it meant their lives. No matter what the outcome was, whether they were blamed or not, and no matter what others said, Suyu saved Huamin from prison and took care of her and the twins for several years. Even Huamin felt that she couldn't repay him, therefore, this time, Qin Chu and Hua Jinyao used all of their strength. I hope so. Then I'll get someone to investigate now. Okay. After Gao Ran agreed, he picked up his phone and began to look for someone to investigate. Huamin's heart was still in her throat. She suddenly remembered what Lu Zhe had said to her a long time ago. That meant, the revenge on Suyu wouldn't stop. Even if Lu Zhe left, there would still be someone more powerful. From that time on, Huamin had a vague feeling that someone was going to make a move on Suyu. This matter had nothing to do with Ian, Nalo, Hua Xiqian, or the masked men. This was probably the karma that Suyu had planted himself. Huamin planned to wait for Suyu to wake up and ask him who he had offended. When Huamin returned, everyone was still waiting in the corridor. Lady Su's face was very pale. Huamin helped her sit on the bench. No one said a word, at the same time in a hotel in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. After Hua Xiqian was tortured by Lu Yan, he jumped into the sea in a sorry state. Then, he was picked up by someone, and taken to Southeast Asia. When he came back to report, he had been feeling uneasy. He felt that if he failed, those people would beat him half to death. In fact, Jack had never thought that he would one day take over Hua Xiqian's body. Previously, Hua Xiqian's only a short time. But now, he's T always be apart T day and night. Would and Hua Sai, T have a Hua T to be free will not free T have 8. Of course, all of this was because of those people. They gave him some kind of pink liquid that he didn't know what it was. He injected it once a week, and then he would always be Jack. Is the young madam inside? Jack walked to the door and asked in English when he saw the 2 black bodyguards. Go in, the young madam is waiting for you. After hearing that, Jack knocked on the door with fear and trepidation before walking in. Inside, a woman in a black tulle sat on the sofa. She had long brown hair and a golden mask on her face. The difference was that she only wore half of her face today. It was obvious that she had a good temper and was very young. The black tulle on her body was like lingerie, sexy and mysterious. On her feet was a pair of fiery red high heels. In the night, it was frighteningly red. Dear Jack. How was your trip? Did you see your old friends? The woman's voice was very pleasant. Young madam, I failed the mission. Please punish me. Even someone as arrogant as Jack knelt down in fear and begged for punishment. So, who were these people? Chapter 37-34. Oh. You failed the mission? The masked woman smiled as if she had expected this. Yes. Jack didn't dare to say a word, afraid that he would say something wrong. He didn't like people who listened to him, but these people, he had to be afraid. Why? The woman looked at Jack with a smile. Lu Yan is here. Oh. So you're no match for Lu Yan? Young madam, you must be joking. I might not even be able to defeat Lu Yan's subordinates, let alone Lu Yan. They're a group of desperados who don't care about their lives. Even the Interpol can't do anything to them, so, you're blaming me for not giving you enough men? Do I need to give you an army? I don't dare. I'm incompetent, please punish me. Jack knew that if you didn't complete the mission given to you, you didn't complete it. Leaders only looked at the results, not the unimportant reasons why you didn't complete the mission. So, he didn't dare to continue arguing, in case the result got worse. He might as well admit his mistake. Hee. Jack, when did you become so obedient? It's not like you. The masked woman seemed to understand Huasiqian's second personality very well and just chuckled. I don't dare to be angry in front of you, young madam. Jack was obedient. When you couldn't fight back, the only thing you could do was bow down to save your life. You're indeed much smarter than Huasiqian. A wise man submits to circumstances. The masked woman seemed to be in a good mood. She wasn't angry at Jack for failing the mission. Of course. After all, I don't have anyone in my heart. But he's been thinking about that woman the whole time, Jack said with disdain. If one day, Huamin falls into your hands, what are you going to do with him? Dismember him. Jack said without thinking, as if he had thought of this long ago but didn't carry it out. Very good, I like your ruthlessness. Jack lowered his head and didn't dare to make a sound. His kneeling legs were numb. You just came back. You must be exhausted. Go and rest, then. Young master won't punish me? Jack was a little overwhelmed by the favor. There's no need. It's not your fault that you can't complete the mission. Then should we continue? After all, Lu Yan can't stay by Huamin's side forever. Jack really wanted to catch Huamin and kill her. Therefore, he tried to ask them if they still wanted to capture Huamin. Don't worry, I have my own plans. All right. You may leave. Yes. Jack respectfully left the room. The girl got up, walked to the retro stereo, and pressed a button. Then, the voice of a popular singer from the 1980s in the United States came out. It was magnetic and very recognizable. At this time, the door opened again and the masked man in black walked in. Master. Did you record it? Yes, I did. How many? Asked the girl. About 1/10 of it. Lin Fan muttered. 1/10? Hee. That's a good harvest. Copy it and then, decode it one by one. Okay, master. Do you want me to get rid of Jack? No, I still need him. Okay. Meanwhile, in the Las Vegas casino, Lu Yan's double played a few rounds and then walked to the washroom. As soon as she entered the washroom, someone covered her mouth. Boss. The woman yelled in pleasant surprise. Shoo. Lu Yan made a shushing gesture. The double was also pleasantly surprised that she could finally stop pretending. Damn it, she was too tired. Chapter 37-35. Boss, does that mean I'm free now? This girl had suffered a lot. She was a technologist. She was in charge of high-tech on the island where Lu Yan's headquarters was located. To put it simply, she was a hacker. But this time, Lu Yan put on a human skin mask and pretended to be her to come to Las Vegas with Xiao Fei. This girl was really scared. After all, the man she was with this time was her boss's man. If there were any scandals, she would die. Me, that bitch, is a living example. Look at your useless face. You call yourself a top hacker. Lu Yan looked at her with disdain. Boss, young Master Qiao and I know. You don't have to explain. I know. Be good. Take off the mask, change into this set of clothes, and go out. I've arranged a car for you outside. If you want to go back to the headquarters, you can go there directly. If not, I'll give you half a month off. You can go anywhere in the world. I'll pay for all your expenses. Lu Yen patted the girl's head as if she was coaxing a child. The girl didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Boss, I don't need it. I'll go back to the headquarters. This girl had been with Lu Yen for a few years. Her skills were quite average, at least in this team. But she was smart. It would be a piece of cake for her to hack into a Swiss bank. Just like that, Lu Yen and this subordinate secretly switched places in the bathroom. Lu Yen changed into a black dress that her double always wore and held a famous luxury bag in her hand. She looked like a socialite. Then, she returned to the gambling table with a smile. She placed her bets without changing her expression. To others, this woman was the same as before. Even her expression was the same. Her chips were neither high nor low, and she basically didn't say anything. However, the moment Lu Yen sat down, Xiao Fei's eyes changed. However, no one noticed. In less than 5 minutes, she earned back the hundreds of thousands of yuan she lost. Lu Yen stood up with a smile, and stretched. Let me help you carry it. Xiao Fei took the bag from her. To be honest, Lu Yen was quite jealous because she didn't tell Xiao Fei that she was coming. The original plan was for him and her double to stay here for 3 days and 3 nights. Then, they would fly to Milan, Italy, to meet up and switch back. So, logically speaking, Lu Yen was still a substitute. Wouldn't the queen be jealous that Xiao Fei was so attentive to a substitute? Seeing that the woman beside him didn't look too good, Xiao Fei only secretly raised the corner of his mouth and didn't say anything. As for Lu Yen, despite her displeasure, she handed her bag to Xiao Fei to take it for her. The two of them did not speak along the way until they arrived at the hotel. In order to keep it a secret, the two of them had been staying in a suite. However, after entering the room, the double slept in the guest bedroom while Xiao Fei slept in the master bedroom. They did not interfere with each other. The stand-in was particularly afraid of Xiao Fei. Knowing that this man was not to be trifled with, he did not dare to speak too much. She definitely wouldn't be like AI me, who doesn't know her own worth. So, Lu Yen decided not to tell Psycho Xiao about it as soon as she entered her room. Just keep pretending to be a stunt double. Unexpectedly, Xiao Fei followed her in just as she stepped in. Lu Yen looked at him in bewilderment. She really wanted to ask, what the hell are you doing? However, after thinking about it, she decided not to. After all, she was pretending to be a stunt double and would be exposed as soon as she opened her mouth. So, she just looked at Xiao Fei with an unfriendly gaze. Tonight, let's go to the pool together. Xiao Fei smiled. Lu Yen almost flipped out, but she forced herself to calm down and took out her phone. She typed a few words and showed it to Xiao Fei. Xiao Fei glanced at it. It said, if the boss finds out, he'll kill us. Chapter 37-36. Xiao Fei suppressed his laughter and deliberately lowered his voice. It's okay, I'll protect you. Lu Yen was even more furious when she heard this. But, for some reason, she had to continue pretending to be a substitute. She picked up her phone and typed, Young Master Xiao, I'm just a substitute. Please let me go. I don't want to end up like Amy. My boss will skin me alive. After Xiao Fei finished reading, he leaned closer to her face. It's okay. I treat you differently. I won't be like Amy. When your boss comes back, I'll tell her everything, and marry you. Hearing this, she looked at Xiao Fei's teasing face. Lu Yen suddenly understood, damn it. You saw through me and were playing with me? So, our Queen Lu didn't say anything when she came back and even wanted to sleep in a different room from her husband. What kind of logic is this? Where's the promised benefit? Xiao Fei crossed his arms and began to criticize her. I was joking with you. Huh. But speaking of which, when did you find out that I changed? Lu Yen couldn't finish her sentence. Xiao Fei threw her onto the big, soft bed behind her. Then, a storm-like kiss, it was more like a nibble than a kiss. However, he controlled his strength just right. Logically speaking, Xiao Fei wasn't an experienced person, but his flirting skills were top-notch. Psycho Xiao. Listen to me first, wait until I get the interest back. Xiao Fei wasn't willing to take any losses. He would only be satisfied after he got his interest back. Lu Yan was helpless. She was a famous person. Such a famous person was being pinned down and couldn't move. She was being nibbled on the bed like a feast. Hey. Fuck, I haven't eaten yet. I'm hungry. Get lost. Lu Yan was the kind of woman who couldn't be gentle for more than 3 seconds. So when she lost her patience, her mouth was full of vulgarities. If someone didn't like it, then Yan would say, I'm like this. If you don't like it, go to hell. Hearing Lu Yan say that she was hungry, Xiao Fei reluctantly let go of her. What do you want to eat? I'll ask the hotel to send it over. I suddenly want instant noodles. Xiao Fei, there's some in the hotel. Go and boil some water for me. Xiao Fei, what's with your expression? I've only been gone for a few days. Can't I order you around? Lu Yan smiled. Are you sure you want to eat instant noodles? Xiao Fei felt that this was a little, I just want to eat. Come with me. I still want to drink iced Coke. There's Coke in the fridge. Xiao Fei pointed at the fridge in the corner of the suite and said calmly. I'm not blind. I saw it. What I mean is, go get it for me. Do you really think you're the young madam? Xiao Fei rolled his eyes at her. No, I don't need to be the young madam. I just need to be your young madam. Xiao Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry at Lu Yan's words, but he enjoyed her coquetry. He liked Lu Yan, who was both rude and gentle. She was funny and naughty. Following Lu Yan's request, Xiao Fei boiled some water, made some noodles, and took out some Coke. He served Queen Lu Yan obediently. Then, Lu Yan even put her legs on Xiao Fei's lap like a queen. Lu Yan opened the bottle and took 2 big gulps. Then, she asked with a satisfied expression, Huh? Psycho Xiao, when did you see me come back? Chapter 37-37. When you came back from the washroom. Fuck. You're so good. How did you see through me? Lu Yan thought she pretended to be as low-key as the substitute, but he still saw through her in a minute. Xiao Fei glanced at Lu Yan. The substitute smelled of perfume, but you didn't. Only then did Lu Yan realize that she had failed because of this small detail. Lu Yan didn't have the habit of wearing perfume because it was dangerous. For so many years, she had been chasing and being chased. She couldn't wear perfume to expose her whereabouts. Wouldn't that be suicide? But the substitute was different. The girl was naive. She liked bags, gowns, and luxury goods. So every day after washing up and dressing up, Xiao Fei would see her spray a luxury perfume on herself. In the past few days, Xiao Fei had gotten used to the smell by the substitute's side. Therefore, when the real Lu Yan came back, he felt a sense of familiarity with the refreshing breeze that he hadn't felt in a long time. If they weren't in the casino, he would have held Lu Yan in his arms. God knew how impulsive he was, but he had to suppress the ecstasy in his heart. That was why the scene in the hotel suite was like this. Psycho Xiao, you're really smart and good at finding details. Lu Yan complimented him happily. Of course, or else how could I get you? Xiao Fei said matter-of-factly. Fuck off. Do you think I'm a tea leaf that you can make whenever you want? If you're a tea leaf, you're cuting tea. Ordinary people can't stand it, Xiao Fei commented. Then, Lu Yan lost her temper and kicked Xiao Fei's body. Where are you kicking? Are you a tiger? Xiao Fei was speechless. Then, he covered his private parts. If I kick you, I'll travel to ancient times and become a eunuch. Wouldn't that be great? Lu Yan smirked. Okay, but, before I become a eunuch, I want to have some fun. then, Xiao Fei pounced on Lu Yen and pressed her under his body. Psycho Xiao, you, Shu, keep your voice down. It's not good to disturb people. Xiao Fei was filled with resentment that Lu Yen had left him behind with a substitute. Therefore, when the main character returned, he naturally wanted to get some benefits back. Lu Yen was a violent person, but she didn't mind when Xiao Fei tried to take advantage of her. After all, she liked Xiao Fei. After so many years, she had only ever liked one man. Well, she probably didn't expect herself to be so single-minded. Southern District Hospital of C City. A full 3 hours had passed. Everyone was still in the corridor of the operating theater. The longer they stayed, the more anxious they became. They all felt that the odds were against him. Tang Chuan and Wei Liao could no longer sit still. They kept walking back and forth in the corridor. There was no need to mention how anxious he was. There was no need to mention the relationship between Su Yu and them. Everyone was afraid that they would hear that Su Yu couldn't be saved, or that he was in a vegetative state. Then what should he do? Finally. The OR lights are off. A few doctors came out from inside. Qin Chu was last in line. Beads of sweat could be seen on his forehead and the tip of his nose. Chu, how's you? Lady Su rushed up and grabbed Qin Chu's gloved hand. Chapter 37-38. He's fine now. Hearing Qin Chu's words, everyone's hearts fell back to their chests. Big brother, tell us the details. We're all scared. Qin Ning walked to Qin Chu's side and whispered. Su Yu is indeed seriously injured, and it's his head. Hearing his words, everyone's hearts began to ache again. There's a blood clot in the back of his head, and he has a serious concussion. However, he's not injured anywhere else. It's lucky. I performed a minor surgery on him to clean up the blood clot and check the rest of his head. He's fine now. I believe he'll wake up soon after resting, but I suggest that he stay in the hospital for a period of time for observation to see if there are any sequelae. That's great. Thank God. That's great. Lady Su was so excited that tears fell from her eyes. Then, she grabbed Qin Chu's hand tightly. Chu, thank you. Auntie really wants to thank you. Auntie, it's what I should do. The Su family has always been very good to me, Mian, and the child. I'm just returning the favor. You don't have to be so polite. Thank you for your hard work, child. Mrs. Su knew that although Qin Chu said it was just a minor surgery, it was still a minor surgery. However, how could a surgery that lasted more than 3 hours be a minor surgery? Even if one didn't study medicine, one could imagine how important a head surgery was. Therefore, everyone knew how much effort Qin Chu had put in. Hearing that Su Yu was fine, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Lady Su couldn't bear to part with her son and refused to leave. Afraid of disturbing Su Yu's rest, everyone went back first. They planned to visit Su Yu when he woke up. With his big belly, Huamin walked to Qin Chu after the crowd dispersed. She took out Li's handkerchief and gently wiped the sweat off his face. Honey, thank you for your hard work. It's not hard. I'm very happy to be able to save Su Yu. Do you feel relieved that you've returned a great favor to him? Huamin knew that Qin Chu was a very thoughtful person. Previously, she had always been indebted to the Su family, so she must have felt pressured in her heart. This time, he could return the favor, and he felt much more relaxed. That's not all. If anything happens to Su Yu, I'm afraid no one will have an easy time. Even if he's my rival in love, even if I know that he hasn't completely forgotten about you, I still want him to live well. Hubby, thank you. Huamin hugged Qin Chu and left a gentle kiss on his lips. In this kiss, there was love, respect, and pride. Yes, she was proud of Mr. Qin's character. You must be tired and hungry after more than 3 hours. I'll treat you to something to eat, hubby. Sure, Dinhua, don't tell me you want to treat me? Qin Chu smiled. Do you want to eat Aixian's ramen? No. I want to eat something expensive, Mr. Chin said on purpose. Huh, good. Australian lobster, abalone, and fried noodles with sea cucumber. Do you want to eat? You know that I eat seafood and my stomach is weak, so you're deliberately provoking me. Dean Hua, do you really want to treat me to a meal? Of course. I'm very sincere. Tell me, what do you want to eat? We'll go eat whatever you want. Chin Chu was silent for a while and then said, I heard that the cafeteria at Southside is good. Don't tell me you, Emicham, let's go. Huamin never would have dreamed that Chin Chu would be willing to go to the cafeteria. Although it was late at night, the cafeteria did prepare supper for the night shift medical staff. When Chin Chu and Huamin walked in, some of the doctors and nurses who were eating stood up to greet them. Vice Director Hua, Vice Director Hua. Sit down, everyone. Huamin waved his hand and gestured for everyone to sit down. Wow. Is that the new doctor beside Vice Director Hua? He's so handsome. Oh my god. I'm shocked. A young nurse looked at Chin Chu, who was wearing a white coat, with a smitten look on her face. She mistook him for a new male doctor. Chapter 37-39. Yeah, he's so handsome. No, I have to ask for his WeChat. There was a new nurse who was born in the 90s. She was more open-minded, so her style was very casual. The nurse on the night shift, wearing a white lab coat, surprised everyone. She walked up to Chin Chu and Huamin, Vice Director, can I bother you for a moment? The nurse knew the higher-ups. Sure. Huamin was confused, but he didn't know the nurse's motive, so he nodded. Can I ask for our new colleague's WeChat ID? New colleague? Huamin was confused again. Mr. Chin, on the other hand, was calmly eating the shredded potatoes on his plate, as if he wasn't the one being talked about. This is the new doctor. He's really so handsome. He's my type. Can I add him on WeChat? The nurse looked at Chin Chu with infatuation, ignoring Huamin's sweaty face. Are you talking about my husband? Huamin continued to ask. What? Husband? The nurse was also confused. If you think he's your new colleague, then it's awkward. Let me introduce my husband, Chin Chu. Huamin understood the nurse's intention, but he wasn't angry. Instead, he introduced Chin Chu with a smile. The nurse's face immediately turned red, and she was so embarrassed that she felt like cancer was about to explode. I'm sorry, Vice Director, for disturbing you. Then, the nurse turned around and ran. Her speed was comparable to Lu Xiang's 100-meter hurdles. The surrounding colleagues all laughed at her. Then, Huamin looked at his husband, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. You're not young anymore, why are you still so flirtatious? Didn't you say that men my age are the most attractive? Mr. Chin asked calmly. Bullshit. Men in their 30s are like tofu, who said that? Mr. Chin was obviously not convinced. I said it, Huamin's famous quote. What do you think? Alright, you win. Mr. Chin knew that once his wife became unreasonable, she would be terrifyingly stubborn, so he immediately surrendered. The couple had a simple meal in Southside's late-night cafeteria. However, Huamin felt a sense of security that he hadn't felt in a long time. Suyu was fine. This was the best news. The next morning it was 6:00 in the morning, and the sun had just risen in the north. Zheng Rou came to Suyu's ward. She had actually been here last night, but seeing so many people in the corridor, she knew that she couldn't enter, so she simply left. I want to see Suyu. Zheng Rou said coldly to the bodyguard at the door. Our madam said that the young master hasn't woken up yet and doesn't want to see anyone. I'm his friend. That won't do either. Why? Get out of the way. Zheng Rou obviously didn't want to give up and had an argument with the bodyguard at the door. Perhaps the noise was too loud and woke up Lady Sue, who was not sleeping soundly. She opened the door and came out. "Madam." "Auntie Sue." Seeing Su Yu's mother, Xing Rou immediately greeted her sweetly. "Miss Zheng, what can I do for you?" Lady Sue's attitude was unusually cold. "Auntie Sue, I heard that Su Yu had a car accident. I want to see him." Xing Rou was very obedient in front of Lady Sue. "I'm sorry, but my son hasn't woken up yet. The doctor said it's not convenient for you to visit him." "I see. When will he wake up?" Xing Rou was genuinely worried about Su Yu since she didn't sleep well last night. Chapter 3740. I'm not sure. Miss Zhang's leg hasn't recovered yet. You'd better go back and rest. Lady Su turned around and closed the door. Xing Rou had no choice but to go back. Han Yueyao was also worried. She wanted to see Su Yu but couldn't get out of bed. Although she was fine, a few of her ribs were broken. She had to rely on the caregiver to take care of her. Su Xiaoxiao came at around 7 a.m. She didn't come alone, she came with Lin Hang. Han Yueyao didn't expect this at all. "Yao." Su Xiaoxiao pushed open the door and walked in with a bouquet of lilies in her hand. Lin Hang followed behind her with a luxurious fruit basket in his hand. "You're early. I'm afraid you'll be hungry, but you didn't bring me anything to eat." Han Yueyao looked around and didn't see any food either. There was nothing but flowers and fruit basket. "There's a lot of fruit here. Aren't you full?" Su Xiaoxiao didn't have the common sense of caring for people. She pointed at the fruit basket. Han Yueyao was starving. "How can you give an apple to a patient? Don't you need to eat? What do you want to eat?" "I'll buy it," Lin Hang, who had been silent, said in a low voice. In fact, his arrival made Han Yueyao feel awkward. After all, he had confessed to her before. Although she had rejected him, she still felt awkward when they met. "It's okay. I'm not that hungry. Don't mention it. It's your honor to have Brother Lin running errands for you." "Haha. Tell me." Su Xiaoxiao didn't notice the awkwardness between them and eagerly asked Lin Hang to buy breakfast for Han Yueyao. "I want to eat deep-fried dough sticks and soy milk." Han Yueyao ordered slowly. Lin Hang frowned slightly. "It's not healthy for a patient to eat this. I'll buy some porridge. Then you can buy it from the hospital cafeteria. It's cheap and delicious. I have money in my wallet." Han Yueyao pointed at her bag by the bed. Lin Hang didn't even look at it and left. Actually, she knew that he wouldn't take her purse. After Lin Hang left, Su Xiaoxiao became the gossip queen. "Hey, tell me, what did you and my uncle do in the car to cause such a serious accident?" "Of course we drove normally. That big truck ran the red light." Han Yueyao looked innocent. "Hee hee, didn't you guys kiss back then?" "Pfft. You want to be a writer? You're so imaginative. Kissing? With Su Yu's temper, he'll beat me to death," Han Yueyao said with disdain. "Ha ha ha ha. Don't tease me." Su Xiaoxiao laughed devilishly. "How can you still laugh? Your uncle almost died, and I almost disappeared from the face of the earth. Aren't you all fine now? You're bound to have good fortune after surviving a great disaster. Calm down. But this time, it's a good thing. Think about it, Yao Yao, you're now the woman who went through thick and thin with me and my uncle. Even Dr. Hu doesn't have this kind of treatment. I have faith in you." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Han Yueyao looked away. She knew what Su Xiaoxiao was talking about but didn't say anything. "Don't pretend. You know my uncle is arrogant and looks down on ordinary people. He sent you back to your dorm in the middle of the night. Isn't that enough proof that you're special? Forget it, Su Xiaoxiao. Don't spread rumors." President Su sent me back to my dorm for Xingro to see, okay? Big Yao Yao, let me ask you. Let's not talk about anything else. Tell me, what do you think in your heart? Su Xiaoxiao suddenly leaned close to Han Yueao's exquisite face and asked mysteriously. What I think? Han Yueao's heart skipped a beat. She knew what Su Xiaoxiao was talking about. Chapter 37:41. Alright, it's just the two of us in the room. Just tell me the truth. I'm not worthy. What's President Su's status? What's my status? Han Yueao laughed at herself. I don't care about status when I like someone. Look at me, I like Brother Lin. I'm a socialite from the Su family, and he's the owner of a small repair shop. Isn't it the same? That's why you didn't end up together. Han Yueao retorted. Fuck, buddy, you're hurting my heart. Su Xiaoxiao covered her chest. Indeed, Lin Heng had never accepted Su Xiaoxiao's confession and had always treated her as an immature and rebellious child. I'm talking about you and my uncle. Alright, don't talk nonsense. I don't dare to like Su Yu. I'm not asking if you dare. I'm asking if you like him or not. Don't you feel anything for him? Su Xiaoxiao's words made Han Yueao fall into deep thought. It was impossible to say that she didn't feel anything for him. After this period of contact, she looked at Su Yu in a new light. Especially this time, at the critical moment, Su Yu turned the steering wheel and saved her life. So, she had a very strange feeling in her heart. Su Yu was a good man and deserved to be liked. But she knew that she wasn't a woman like her. This strong sense of inferiority slowly attacked her as she fell in love with Su Yu. In an instant, she felt conflicted, and inferior. There were many feelings in her heart. Han Yueao was about to say something when she heard the door open. Lin Heng came in with food. Han Yueao didn't say what she was about to say. Su Xiaoxiao glanced at Lin Heng behind her. Big brother Lin, can't you come back later? What? What secret are you talking about? Lin Heng's serious face looked like he had facial paralysis. The difference was that this facial paralysis was a little handsome. Of course, it's a little secret between us girls. Su Xiaoxiao smiled as she spoke and took out a pack of cigarettes. Before she lit it, Lin Heng said, Xiaoxiao, this is a ward. You can't smoke. What if I get addicted to smoking? Can I go to the bathroom? As she spoke, she picked up her cigarette and lighter and went straight to the bathroom in the room. Like Su Yu, Han Yueao lived in a VIP suite. A single ward was 60 square meters. Other than the bed, sofa, and TV, the bathroom was also quite big. It was also soundproof, so Su Xiaoxiao ran in and closed the door. The two people in the room instantly fell into an awkward silence. I bought some vegetable porridge and plain boiled rice. I didn't buy any pickles. I don't think you should eat anything too salty right now. Okay, thank you. She lowered her head and didn't look at his face. I'll feed you. No need, cough cough. My ribs are injured, not my hand. I can do it myself. Han Yueao didn't dare to trouble her boss, so she explained in a joking manner. Then, he moved his nimble hands. The corner of Lin Heng's mouth twitched slightly. Without a word, he helped her put down the small table on the bed. Then, he placed the vegetable porridge in front of her and carefully peeled the egg for her. Well, don't bother. I can do it myself. Han Yueao reached out to take the egg, but Lin Heng didn't return it to her. I heard, you like Su Yu? Lin Heng didn't know what was wrong with his answer. As he peeled the egg, he asked this question. Han Yueao didn't know how to answer. Who did you hear it from? Xiaoxiao? Han Yueao pretended to be calm and asked. Chapter 37:42. Lin Heng didn't answer Han Yueao's question. Instead, he lowered his head and asked, "Do you like Su Yu because he's rich?" Han Yueyao's expression changed slightly when she heard this, but she didn't say anything. "But I don't think you're that kind of woman who loves money." Lin Heng was a taciturn person, but he was always good at reading people. He could tell a pure white lotus, a green tea bitch, or a good person. If Han Yueyao was a gold digger, he would have seen through it long ago and wouldn't like her. "You're wrong. I'm really." Han Yueyao laughed self-deprecatingly. "I really want to know how Su Yu is better than me other than being richer than me. Why are you so attracted to him?" After Lin Heng said this, he finished peeling the egg. He threw it into Han Yueyao's bowl of porridge and stared at her face. "You're asking as if it's true." I don't know whether to answer or not. Han Yueyao felt that she hadn't even admitted that she liked Su Yu. Now that everyone was asking her what she liked about Su Yu, who knew? At this moment, the bathroom door opened and Su Xiaoxiao skipped out. Damn it. I was so bored. I felt good after smoking one. "Big brother Lin, do you want one?" "I don't smoke." Lin Heng's expression wasn't very good. Ever since he heard from Su Xiaoxiao about Han Yueyao and Su Yu again and again, he had been annoyed. This time, when he found out that Han Yueyao and Su Yu were in a car accident, he was even more unhappy. Therefore, his expression wasn't very natural. "Yao Yao, I'll feed you," Su Xiaoxiao volunteered. "No, I'm afraid you'll burn me to death." "Ha ha ha. I won't. I won't burn you to death. At most, I'll be crippled." Su Xiaoxiao laughed wildly. "Han Yueyao, do your parents know about your injury?" Lin Heng suddenly asked. "No. It's such a big thing." "You're not going to tell them?" Sister Mian said I'm fine. I won't be disabled and will recover after I leave the hospital. My parents don't need to worry about me, Han Yueyao explained. "Then can you afford so much medical expenses yourself?" Lin Heng asked her. "Oh, needless to say, it must be my uncle who took it. He's so rich, he wouldn't care about it," Su Xiaoxiao said heartlessly. Lin Heng was even more unhappy when he heard that Su Yu was paying for the medical expenses. Then he looked at Han Yueyao with a dark face. "Are you sure you want Su Yu to pay for your medical bills?" "Ahem. I'm not. I told Sister Mian that no matter who pays for the medical expenses, I'll pay it back. I know how to do favors. Although I'm from an ordinary family, my parents taught me well. I won't take advantage of others for no reason." Han Yueyao hurriedly explained. She didn't want to be shameless. It was bad enough that Su Yu was injured. How could she ask him to pay for the medical expenses? Lin Heng just looked at Han Yueyao deeply and didn't say anything. Then he turned around and walked out. Embarrassed, Han Yueyao lowered her head and ate her porridge. "Yao Yao, Big brother Lin didn't mean to target you. He's not a bad person. He just has a bad temper and doesn't like gold diggers. He thinks you're only doing this because of my uncle's identity and status, I know. I won't think too much." Han Yueyao nodded. "When are you going to confess to my uncle?" Su Xiaoxiao rested her chin on her hand and looked gossipy. Chapter 37-43. Ahem, ahem. "Madam, please kill me." Han Yueyao almost choked on her porridge. "I'm serious. I'm not joking. I want to live a few more years. Don't torture me, haha. Many people have confessed to my uncle. It's okay. They're all alive and well. Are you talking about Zhao Qingya, Jian Tong, Cotton Candy, or Nia Lingxian, who's been banned from the entertainment industry, or the girl who returned from the birthday party?" Su Xiaoxiao, at this moment, she was speechless. These women didn't have good endings, but it wasn't her uncle's fault, right? It was all his own fault. But you can't blame my uncle for these things. It's because... Su Xiaoxiao tried to explain. Han Yueyao immediately interrupted her. "Come, let's change the topic. Let's talk about postpartum care for us. So, Su Xiaoxiao, Han Yuao knew Su Xiaoxiao had been gossiping about her and Su Yu. But the truth was, there was nothing between her and Su Yu. Su Yu hadn't woken up yet, so it was useless to say anything now. Forget it. You eat your porridge. I'll go see if my uncle is awake. At South Hill Manor, when Huamin returned, it was almost 5 a.m. She slept for a few hours at home and woke up at 11:30 a.m. Qin Chu had gone to work at the company. She had planned to resign, but President Wu suddenly announced his retirement and promoted her to director. This matter hadn't been decided yet, and she still had a lot of work to do at South Side. Besides, Su hadn't woken up yet. So after Huamin got up, she packed up and went back to South Side with the bodyguards and chauffeur. The moment Huamin arrived at South Side, Gao Ran called her. Mian. Gao Ran, did you find anything? I might have to disappoint you this time. Why? I couldn't find anything. How could that be? Huamin was clearly in disbelief and astonishment. I'm also very puzzled. Logically speaking, that shouldn't be the case. Zhao Fu has such a simple background, so it should be very easy to investigate. But now, I've discovered that the people related to Zhao Fu are either uncontactable or have gone overseas. No one knows about his situation. If that's the case, then there's definitely something fishy going on. Huamin said in a serious tone. Yes, I also feel that this matter isn't as simple as it seems. Zhao Fu is dead. Logically speaking, no matter how bad the situation is, someone should have come to collect his body. But, none of his relatives or friends are willing to come forward. It seems like they have cut off all ties with him for a long time. His unit has a new boss, but he can't say for sure. They don't know him well. Everyone is ambiguous. I'm even more suspicious that someone is behind this. Have you checked the call records? I have, but there's nothing out of the ordinary. I suspect that Zhao Fu might have another phone to contact the outside world. But that phone probably wasn't bought with his own ID. Plus, we don't know where it went. So, we don't know where to start. That's a very thorough plan. He's dead, so there's no evidence. I'm going to discuss this with Qin Chu. We'll continue to investigate and see if we can find anything. Okay, thank you for your help. Don't mention it, it's my pleasure. Gao Ran then hung up the phone. Huamin was very worried. It seemed like his suspicions were right. Someone really did want Su Yu dead. Then, who could it be? Huamin thought about Lu Zhe's words from before and felt very anxious. Vice Director, please go check on young Master Su, he's awake. Outside the door, a nurse knocked and reminded him. Huamin immediately stood up. Chapter 37:44. Hearing that Su Yu had woken up, Huamin was also a little excited. Following the nurse, he quickly walked over. After Su Yu woke up, Lady Su was undoubtedly the most excited. She hugged her son and cried bitterly before she calmed down. When Huamin entered, Lady Su was still crying. Su Yu raised his hand and wiped away his mother's tears. Mom, don't cry, okay? I'm not dead. Su Yu's voice was still very weak. Shut up, what nonsense are you talking about? The older generation seemed to be very wary of these words. I'm fine. Take care of yourself. If something happens to you from crying, what am I going to do? It's all because you scared me. Lady Su's eyes were red. At this age, she basically lived for her children. Lady Su's health wasn't good. After giving birth to Su Yu, she never had another child. Therefore, she only had one son. If something happened to Su Yu, the consequences would be unimaginable. Yes, it's all my fault. Mom, don't cry. You can hit me or scold me, but don't cry, okay? When you cry, my heart hurts. Suyu wasn't good at coaxing girls, but he was still good at coaxing his mother. Obviously, Lady Su enjoyed these words. She picked up a small handkerchief and wiped her eyes. At this moment, Huamian walked in as well. "Auntie, you've been tired all day and night. Go to sleep. Leave this to me. Mian, it's good that you're here. Quickly check on you and see how he's recovering." "Okay, I'll give him a good checkup. Can you go back and rest?" Huamin also carefully coaxed Lady Su. "Okay, I'll go back and sleep for a while." "Auntie, do Lord Su and Uncle Su know about Suyu? How can such a big thing be concealed?" "I've already told them, but the good thing is that Yu is fine now. His father and grandfather will probably arrive tonight." "Okay, then let's all come together tonight. I haven't seen them for a long time." Lady Su nodded and then left with a peace of mind. After that, the door closed, leaving only Suyu and Huamin in the room. Huamin was wearing a white coat and a pair of black-rimmed glasses. She was still the same as when Suyu first saw her. Suyu almost had an illusion that he was sitting in a time machine. He traveled back in time to a few years ago, when he injured his leg while racing and then recuperated at South Side. At that time, Huamin had just become a doctor. A newborn calf wasn't afraid of a tiger. She insulted the Su family's crown prince until his heart, liver, and lungs hurt. Huamin stood in front of the hospital bed and looked at Suyu, who had woken up. Instantly, his eyes moistened. "Don't cry, please don't cry. I just comforted one. I really don't have the strength to comfort a second one," Suyu said half-jokingly. "I won't. I just think that you're really lucky. You didn't die even after that." "Haha, of course. Grandpa Death won't take me in." "Hey, Lord Su, why don't you ask how Han Yueyao is?" "Do I need to ask?" "Of course she's fine. If I can wake up from this, she's definitely fine. She's lighter than me." Suyu seemed confident. Huamin sighed slightly. "Yeah, at the critical moment, our great hero Su turned the steering wheel and sacrificed himself to save the beauty. Hee, shouldn't there be applause here?" Suyu smiled proudly. Chapter 37:45. There's no applause, but there are slaps. How many do you want? Huh? I'm a patient, how can you hit a patient? Hitting you is already a light punishment. Do you know that you almost scared us to death? Huamin's voice trembled as she said this. She really wanted to cry. It was so good to see Suyu alive and well. She was so happy. Isn't it all in the past? My mom said that this time, it's all thanks to Qin Chu. Yeah, my husband performed the surgery on you himself. So, I kind of owe him a big favor. This guy is really cunning. He knows that I'm amenable to coaxing but not coercion. I'm fine with it if he hits or scolds me, but he's doing me such a favor. How can I openly like you in the future? Suyu said it so calmly that Huamin didn't feel as awkward as before. She just smiled and said, "So, don't like him anymore. His husband saved your life, and you're still thinking about his wife. Aren't you a scumbag? Don't worry, his wife is pregnant and ugly. She's as fat as a pig. I don't like her. You're the pig." Huamin immediately retorted when she realized that she was being scolded. Then, Suyu smiled. Huamin sat on the chair in front of him. "Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere?" "Yeah, I do." "Where?" Huamin was slightly nervous. "My stomach is growling. Dr. Hua, can you help me check if I'm hungry?" Hearing that Suyu was deliberately teasing him, Huamin was so angry that she reached out her hand and was about to hit him. Suyu instinctively wanted to dodge. In the end, Huamin couldn't really hit him. After all, Suyu was a patient. "Stop fooling around, let's talk. Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere?" "No, I'm fine. I'm full of health again." Are you dizzy? No. Does it hurt? I'm fine at the moment. I don't feel much pain. Did Chin Chu perform a craniotomy on me? It's not that serious. You just have a blood clot. Then it's fine. I'll get someone to do a full body checkup on you later, including blood pressure, blood lipids, and blood sugar. Can I eat first? I'm so hungry. No, you can eat it after the test, Huamin emphasized. All right. You call the shots at your hospital. Then you lie down first, I'll arrange it now. After that, Huamin slowly got up to leave. Mian. When Huamin was about to walk out of the door, Suyu suddenly stopped her. Huamin turned around and smiled. It's good to see you again, Suyu said seriously. Me too. With these 3 words, Huamin opened the door and walked out. Huamin knew Suyu was referring to this narrow escape from death. To be honest, the moment the Lamborghini crashed, Suyu thought he was dead for sure. After all, it was so fast and had such a huge impact. He didn't think he would be so lucky to be fine and wake up alive to see the people he cared about. The first was his mother, and the second was Huamin. After arranging everything, Huamin went to Han Yueao's room next door. When Huamin went in, Han Yueao seemed to be in a daze. She looked out the window with something in her eyes that he couldn't see clearly. Yao Yao. Sister Mian. How are you feeling today? Pretty good. That's good. You can get out of bed slowly tomorrow. Okay, I will. Sister Mian. I heard President Su woke up. Hearing the news that Suyu woke up, Han Yueao wanted to go to him immediately, but she suppressed the impulse. After all, she was nothing to Suyu. She didn't want to become the second Xingro and become a dogskin plaster. Chapter 37-46. Yeah, he's awake. How, is he recovering? Will he be disabled? Han Yueao asked anxiously. Yeah, he will. Hearing Huamin say Suyu would be disabled, Han Yueao's heart sank. Suyu will probably be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. I'm afraid he won't be able to find a wife in the future. You know he became like this to save you. Do you want to marry him? Han Yueao's heart sank and she almost burst into tears when she heard the first part of the story. But when she heard Huamian say she wanted to marry him, Han Yueao immediately understood it was a prank. Sister Mian, why are you teasing me at a time like this? You scared me to death. The thing is, I want to see if you have the determination to work hard to repay Suyu. Let me remind you, it's too tiring to work hard, but it's easier to be his wife. Huamin chuckled. Sister Mian, don't tease me. I just hope President Su won't have any sequelae because of what happened this time. Otherwise, I'll never feel at ease for the rest of my life. Han Yueao said it seriously. Huamin didn't have the heart to tease her. Yeah, don't worry. He'll be fine and won't have any sequelae. My husband is the best neurosurgeon in the country. Huamian didn't forget to praise her husband as she comforted Han Yueao. Yeah, I believe President Qin did his best to save President Su. I'm sure he'll get better soon. By the way, Yao, I have something to tell you. What is it? Someone has paid for your medical expenses. What do you mean? Didn't Lady Su pay for me? Han Yueao was puzzled. Yes, Auntie Su paid for you. But for some reason, another person came this morning, claiming to be your friend. After checking your medical expenses, he returned the money to Auntie Su and put it in an envelope in Su Yu's room. Auntie Su was exhausted and probably didn't have time to check it. Did you tell your family about this? Huamin thought it was Han Yueao's family. In fact, Han Yueao's medical expenses were less than 50,000 yuan in total. The Su family didn't lack this small amount of money. But now, someone had inexplicably appeared out of nowhere to exchange money for her. This made her puzzled. Hua Mian thought if they were Han Yueao's parents, they would come to visit her in the ward. I didn't tell my family, do you have any other friends here? Hua Min asked. No one. Han Yueao thought of Su Xiaoxiao. After all, Xiaoxiao was rich. But on second thought, she didn't think it was right. Even Su Xiaoxiao knew the medical expenses were paid by the Su family. They were family and didn't need to be so calculative. Could it be, at this moment, a figure flashed across Han Yueao's mind? Then, her expression darkened. If it was really him, what was going on? They weren't friends, so how could he pay 50,000 yuan for her? Do you know who it is? Yeah, it might be another friend of mine. I'll call and ask. Okay. Have some rest. Ask the nurse to call me if you need anything. Hua Min stood up and was about to leave. Sister Mian, can I go and see President Su? Han Yueao bit her lip, she didn't know what to say. She was afraid others would misunderstand that she had improper thoughts about Su Yu. Of course. But it's inconvenient for you to move. How about this? I'll ask the nurse to get a wheelchair and push you there. Okay. Han Yueao was overjoyed to hear him say, okay. Hua Min walked out and was on his way to his office when he received a call from Zhu Lingling. Hey, big girl, what's up? Hua Min answered the phone lazily. Mian, I want to divorce Gao Ran. Chapter 37-47. Stop fooling around, it's not April Fool's Day today. Hua Min didn't take Zhu Lingling's words to heart at all. He thought this woman was definitely pranking him. I'm not fooling around. I'm serious. Zhu Lingling's tone was very calm. Swear, if you lie to me. Before Hua Min could finish, Zhu Lingling calmly continued, if I lie to you, I'll never be a C-cup. You are really ruthless. You even made such a vicious oath. Are you at the hospital? I'll go find you. Zhu Lingling was very depressed. Yeah, I'm at the hospital. Come over first, we'll talk about the details when we meet. Hua Min comforted Zhu Lingling first, then hung up the phone and immediately called Gao Ran. Mian, there's no new development on that matter. If there is, I'll let you know immediately. Qin Chu and I are both paying attention. Gao Ran thought that Hua Min called to find out the force behind Su Yu's death. However, he guessed wrong this time. Gao Ran, did you and Lingling have a fight? Huh? No. Gao Ran was completely dumbfounded. Then, are you guys in a Cold War? No. Gao Ran carefully thought back and found that everything had been fine recently. Then, are you guys having a bad sex life recently? Hua Min thought hard and almost laughed after asking this question. Gao Ran, Hua Min, are you deliberately looking for trouble? No, I'm really not. I'm just trying to find out what's going on between you and your wife. No, we're getting along very well. Gao Ran thought that although it wasn't very frequent, it wasn't a small number. American physiologists concluded that couples normally do it twice a week. Alright then, it's fine. Why are you asking about this all of a sudden? Gao Ran was puzzled. Hua Min was not a gossipy person. She would not suddenly ask such a question for no reason, so she felt very uneasy. I'm fine. I'm just helping my little bean find out if her future in-laws have a good relationship. Hua Min also spouted a bunch of nonsense to deceive the others. Gao Ran was dumbfounded again. After hanging up the phone, he tilted his head and thought hard. After hanging up the call with Gao Ran, Hua Min also had doubts in his heart. What the hell is going on? One was clamoring for a divorce, while the other didn't know what was going on. Could it be? A ridiculous thought flashed through Hua Min's mind. But she didn't say it out loud. She was waiting for Zhu Lingling to come and confront her face to face. An hour later Zhu Lingling drove to South Side and went straight to Hua Min's office. Sister Lingling. When Xinjie saw Zhu Lingling, she thought she was here to see Su Yu. Emicham, is Mian in there? Yes, you can go in. Zhu Lingling nodded. She didn't seem to be in a good state of mind. It was chilly in the north in autumn. Zhu Lingling was wearing a dark gray sports suit and a black baseball cap. The brim of the cap was pressed low. When Zhu Lingling pushed open the door and walked in, Huamin had just finished making a pot of flower tea. Hey, you're just in time. I just finished making the flower tea. Huamin smiled. I don't want flower tea. Do you have arsenic trioxide? Give me some. Zhu Lingling threw her bag on the sofa and lay down on the sofa. Pfft. Huamin almost spat out the flower tea he just drank. You're tuning into the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.